This is the Patriots Pregame Show, presented by Dunkin.
Harmon on a blitz. Goff throws it to the right. Gilmore's there. Intercepted at the 4. Harmon forced the pick, and Gilmore comes up with it.
The Patriots Pregame Show is the world's largest virtual tailgate, featuring fans of the 6-time Super Bowl champion New England Patriots.
Brady under center. Gives to Michelle. Runs it left. A dive to the end zone. Touchdown Patriots. Michelle for 6.
That's the offense I know. That's the offense we love.
Hardy, Paul Perillo, and Mike Dussault are here to do the grilling as your hosts. This week, the Patriots are home against the Tennessee Titans.
James White tucks it under the right arm. Cuts it upfield. Driving forward. Diving to the goal line. A touchdown. And a title for the Patriots.
I can't believe it.
Hardy, Paul Perillo, and Mike Dussault are here to get you ready for the game.
It's football time, fellas. Let's get into it.
Now, live from our studios inside Gillette Stadium, Patriots Nation, welcome to the Patriots Pregame Show presented by Dunkin.
Well, it seems like it's been a while, gentlemen, and that's because it's been a while. You know what I'm saying?
I do.
Hardy and Mike Dussault and Paul Perillo, all here for the Patriots Pregame Show, fueled by Dunkin, as the Patriots are home today to host the Titans of Tennessee in a much-heralded matchup between former player, now turned head coach, and Mike Vrabel. The disciple. What are we doing?
I like that.
What are we doing?
That wasn't bad. That was pretty
All
good.
right, should I have kept rolling with
Just
it?
keep going.
All right.
No.
Disciple turned opponent, and now the.
Okay, you probably shouldn't keep it going. You lost it.
All right. How we doing, guys? How was Thanksgiving?
It's pretty good. Pretty good. I know. It was nice. It was nice. Missing some of our family due to sicknesses, not
I'm sorry.
non-COVID related.
All
but
right.
just,
Anyone in your immediate family?
Yeah.
Oh.
No.
Oh.
I don't know. What's my immediate family? Just my wife.
Your
and
wife
my
and
kids?
your children.
No. Then no.
Okay.
Negative.
You guys are all healthy, but everyone.
My sister.
Okay. Everyone else on the mend?
Yeah. There's some flu going around. So, but otherwise it was nice. We had a nice time and Thanksgiving and football. Right here we are.
All right, Paul. Good Thanksgiving.
Yeah, that's good. It was amazing.
Wasn't
I don't have amazing Thanksgiving.
It wasn't my bet. You laughed, so you asked. So I'll give you.
Yeah. Give it to
I
him.
did have a little bit of an issue in my family, and I was banished by the rest of my family.
Oh,
so
no.
My wife had to
Gas.
work,
Oh.
and I had to stay home by myself with my boys. That was
On
it.
Thanksgiving?
Yes.
Oh no.
So it wasn't the best Thanksgiving.
I'm sorry. Your wife is in the medical field.
Correct. She had to work, and because of our issues, we were not allowed at my parents' house or my in-laws' house.
Oh boy. Well,
But everything's good now.
hey, you got to watch some football though.
Yeah.
On Thanksgiving?
In 2 good games, and then the Bills game wasn't such a great game at night. But yeah, I spent the day watching football, and the only thing I was missing was Scott Hansen. I had no red zone.
Oh.
I had no one to pick on.
Well.
I just had to watch 3 games conventionally.
Yeah, you don't need it.
You're
no
your own
overlap.
Scott Hansen that day. You
know?
do your Scott Hansen yourself.
Yeah.
Well, I had no one else to do it with because I was all by myself all day.
And in true Lions fashion, they lose but cover, which is, all one can hope for these days, or maybe a tie.
Yikes.
That's what that season is going to be like for the Lions. Let us tell you what's happening on the show today. We're going to go behind enemy lines with John Glennon of SI.com. John
Glennon.
We will take care of our over-unders. We'll get to the Sunday six-pack. It's been so long, I don't even know what happened the last one. But, I'm sure some of us did well and others not so well.
Yeah.
But before any of that happens, gentlemen, we must get the keys to today's game. Why did you leave the keys up on the table? You wanted to.
You've waited all week for it.
The whole team's in the locker room right now just listening to this, waiting to hear what you're going to say.
Without these keys, the Patriots are destined and doomed to fail.
Here are Hardy, Paul, and Mike's keys to the game.
Why, did I steal your key to the game also?
You have the key. You have the right one.
Keys to the game. Without these keys, Patriots are destined to fail today in their big matchup against the Tennessee Titans. So, gentlemen in the locker room, turn it up. Or if you're on headphones, just put the noise canceling on. Make sure you get everything we have to say here, as Mike Dussault will be the first to favor us with his key to today's game.
Oh, that's great.
Michael.
I'm picturing them all gathered around the radio like Little Orphan Annie. But
Right.
So I think the complexion of this game has changed a little bit over the week. I mean, I think we knew Derrick Henry and Julio Jones were going to be out, but the attrition continues for the Titans. So I think what, maybe initially coming down the pike, but it felt like, well, this is a battle for first place. This is a game now I think the Patriots just kind of have to take care of business and have to win. And so my key is just simply win the line of scrimmage. I think that's been a big key for them over this 5-game win streak. Offensively, defensively, I think the offensive line has played really well. Getting the run game going, I think that's become really the Patriots' offensive identity, being able to run the ball and, not only early and quote-unquote establish the run, as everyone likes to say, but, I think finishing the games in the end and being able to run the clock out and, just put Mac into manageable distances and all that on third down. So defensively, same thing. I think this is still a Titans team that, I think likes to exert their will, so to speak, on both sides of the ball as well. So I just think that's where it starts. I think if this team's going to have any chance today, it's going to be because the Titans' offensive line is able to get some push, able to open some holes. If the Patriots' offensive and defensive line are able to shut those things down, I think it's going to be a long day for the Titans, especially on offense. So win the line of scrimmage is my key for today.
All right. I think it makes a lot of sense. Them missing Derrick Henry, it can't be overstated. I believe he is still the second leading rusher in the NFL.
Yeah.
And he hasn't played since week 8. I mean, that guy was everything to that offense, and without him, you really don't have a choice today. It's like you said, it has gone from a game that weeks ago you circled and said, this is a tough
barometer. Let's find where we match up against a real good. It's not the same.
And now after long rest, it's like, oh, you got to win this game today.
Yep.
You are home against a team missing their best offensive weapon. You have to win this game. Do you feel the same way, Paul?
I do, and I think my key sort of dovetails nicely into what Mike just talked about, because I feel like you have to put this game in Tannehill's hands, and if you're the Patriots, that means winning the line of scrimmage. It means stopping anybody that they want to try to run. D'Onta Foreman is, I think, a serviceable sort of journeyman kind of guy. He's not a star. I think his career has been a little bit of a disappointment. I thought he had some potential to be a little bit more than he has been in his career, but he's a guy that's not without talent. So don't let him get going. Don't let the Titans play the way they want to play, which is running the ball and using hard play action with Tannehill taking some shots down the field. All of his receivers are out. All of his running backs are out. Even some of his offensive liners is out. Don't let this game get into the situation where Tannehill's making plays. Put it on his shoulders, and he'll make mistakes. He should be able to get out of there with. I think Mike is right. I think this is a must-win at this point.
I'll give you my key in a moment, but the first call we have to go to today is a gentleman I only met yesterday, calling from Nassau, Bahamas. This is Archie on the Patriots Pregame Show, fueled by Dunkin. Archie, I gave you the number. I didn't know if you were going to call, and here you are. What's up?
Man, I was going to call. Hey, football is my life.
I know. Archie is the biggest Philadelphia Eagles fan, knows more about the NFL than all three of us put together.
Eagles fly.
Archie, how you doing, buddy?
I'm good, man. I took a guy to the airport this morning. He's a Steeler fan, and I was telling him, oh, man, and he's like, dude, how do you know so much about football? And I'm like, only football? I can't take soccer, so I'm loving football. And the Eagles play today, and if they get it right, we're going to be okay. But you guys are leading the division, and I think you're going to win it again this year. I didn't know how you guys do it, but, man.
It's pretty good now. The Eagles should be able to take care of that. They have the Giants today, right, Archie?
Yeah.
A chance to get to 500 today.
Yeah.
The Eagles.
Yo, dude, I'm telling you, this is going to work. We know something. Guess what? I think they're starting to imitate the Patriots because it's like what you guys are doing, ain't nobody seen it coming.
There's something to that, but they are far too inconsistent for me to really get behind them.
All the teams that Philadelphia plays also getting decimated with injuries? Is that how they're following the Patriots motto?
The Patriots are getting lucky with some of the injuries on their opponents, Archie. But listen, thank you so much for yesterday. It was great meeting you, and thank you even more for calling in, buddy. I really appreciate it.
Nah, guess what? You're gonna hear from me on a regular.
Oh, that's awesome.
You guys seem to, I'm trying to get my radio set whereby I can get you guys on a regular.
Patriots.com. It's very easy to find us. Patriots.com, Archie. Thanks again for yesterday, and we'll talk to you again soon, buddy.
Okay, guys, have a good one.
All
You
right.
too, Archie.
Take care.
All right.
That's pretty cool. Look at how cool
Making
Hardy
friends
is.
around the world.
Look at how cool. You're just bringing people together.
Yeah, people together.
I got to tell you, we met so many nice people on our vacation, and the last person we met, the guy who took us to the airport yesterday, was Archie, and I'm not kidding you. Just out of nowhere, he starts talking about the NFL, and he is naming like backup running backs around the league and talking about how they and spot on with all of his analysis. I'm like, oh, you got to call in. You got to call in. He's like, yeah, call in.
And you didn't think you would.
You tell people,
Yeah. I mean, I get that.
No, we could have used them.
I'm going to call. I'm going to call.
We were talking. We were talking about a lot about the Patriots when I said, we were from Boston. We were flying back to Boston. He starts talking about Belichick. He starts talking about Mac Jones. He starts talking about the receivers he had at Alabama. He's talking about this. He's talking about that. And we talked, and at the very end, I said, I work for the Patriots. He's like, no way. And I said, why don't you call into our show tomorrow? He says, I'm going to call.
Yeah.
And he did.
And he
So
did.
that was great.
He kicked us off.
It's too bad when they played the Eagles this summer. We could have used them to call in during the pregame show for that.
We
Should
should
have been our behind enemy lines.
next time around, hopefully we save the number. I don't know.
Archie in the Bahamas.
Yeah, if we save this number, that would be fantastic. Earlier when Matt asked us for our behind enemy lines things, and I was trying to come up with a clever Thanksgiving metaphor for it about stuffing those turkeys, stopping the running backs at the line of scrimmage.
Couldn't come up with one.
I really couldn't
Carve them up.
The other one I came up with was gobble up the leftovers. If there's any loose balls flying around out there today, whether interceptions, fumbles, just essentially take care of the football, but really capitalize on opportunities. The Titans turned the ball over a lot, I believe, against Houston, and really a game that they should not have lost, injuries or not.
Right. I agree with that.
So if that happens again, make sure you make them pay for those mistakes.
Yep.
So gobble up the leftovers and stuff the turkeys and I don't know what, candy the yams.
Carve them up.
I was trying to come up with, okay, yards after the catch. What could yam be? Yards after
After you make the catch.
Yards after mistake.
Yards after mistake.
Ah.
Damn it, Paul. Now you tell me.
Well,
Oh. All right.
I'm a little bit slow this morning.
I like it though, Hardy. I think a game like this, it's just a different kind of feel, and I think they've been better with the mistakes and stuff. But I think that's something today where you're playing a team that's shorthanded. That's really stuff you got to avoid. Those are the kind of things, especially early, that could really give the Titans kind of an early boost. And I'd love to see the Patriots continue to kind of clean up the mistakes, clean up the turnovers. I think that'll be big today, especially early, just setting the tone, get off to a good start,
Yeah. And as far as Vrabel is concerned, he said all the right things earlier this week. He said, look, this isn't a battle against me, against Bill. And I know that with me as the head coach, we have won the games that we have played so far. It doesn't matter. It's always the players on the field who win or lose the games. There's no other juice at stake, blah, blah, blah. I don't believe him. I believe that for all these guys, and not just because it's Vrabel, but whether it's Bill Belichick or Tom Brady playing his former team or Steph Gilmore when he's going up against him, of course there's something personal. And there has to be something personal with Vrabel today. There has to be.
Yeah, I agree. I just don't know how important it is, how much of an impact, I should say, it will have on the game, just because of what Mike has been talking about with the nature of the Titans. And I do wonder, I think they have the bye next week, right? I just wonder if they're just looking at this game like, let's just let's go up there. Let's try to, put as much of a fight up as we can. And let's just get out of there. We'll have a bye, 8-4. We'll come back. We still got plenty to still play for.
Jacksonville on the other side of the bye for them.
Yeah, you got a soft schedule to finish with for them. So they still have the ability to achieve some of the goals that they want. But I just think it's a really tough spot with all those guys out today for them.
Yeah, I mean, I thought Vrabel just sounded beleaguered.
Defeated.
I mean, he just sounded so low energy. That was what was surprising, just the tone of his voice. And I mean, I think more than the competitiveness between them, of course, it's just he understands what Belichick's going to kind of have in store for them today and how tough it's probably going to be without their top weapons. And, I mean, that's the hope that this Patriots team continues to build on what they've done and take care of business today rather than, oh, this is a matchup that's really going to tell us who they are and where they're at. It's it's about continuing what they've been doing the last few weeks, building off of those things, cleaning up the mistakes, post-Thanksgiving football, that all that cliche stuff, and just putting them in their place where they need to be. And I think that after this, turn the page to Buffalo. Two out of the next 3 weeks. It's going to be some big games coming up.
All right, let us go behind enemy lines, gentlemen. Let's do it.
You know the view from New England.
We go behind enemy lines.
But what about the view from the other side?
Well, I'm doing great, even though I miss being there with you guys.
And that's why you're our favorite pregame show guest every year.
You guys know you tell everybody that.
Time now to go behind enemy lines.
My God, it's coming right for us!
From SI.com, we bring in John Glennon at Glennon Sports on Twitter. And as somebody was very quick to point out earlier, Paul, on Twitter, someone asked us, is this the Titans reporter who wouldn't give the score prediction?
No.
No, this is not. John, we may have even talked to you about this before. I'm sure Paul remembers the guy's name.
I think it was Jeff. Jeff Legwald.
No.
Did he cover the Titans?
He did years ago for the Tennessee, and that is a possibility.
Yeah, so he's the only one that we've ever had on the show. We've been doing it for 10-plus years now. He's the only one that refused to give us a score prediction.
Yeah, but not
so
you.
we always have poked fun at him. Obviously, good nature.
He's a legend.
Yeah, and he's a legend.
Hey, what's going on, John? Thanks for joining us here this morning on the Patriots Pregame Show. We're talking about their injuries for the Titans. It's just got to be it's got to be tough just, holding on and waiting and thinking, when can you get back to that team that you were, during the first 7-8 weeks?
Yeah, I mean, that's really the question this week for the Titans is what kind of team they're going to field today. And unfortunately, it's for them, it's looking like a lot of names that they don't usually see. Certainly the more recognizable list is those who are out, and that includes, A.J. Brown, Julio Jones, Bud Dupree, Derrick Henry. Obviously, the list goes on. And, I think the one number maybe that kind of spells it out best for the Titans right now is they've used 82 players this year, and the NFL record for using players in 1 year is 84.
Wow.
There's a good chance they'll pass that today, and that's week 12. So that about sums it up for the Titans right now.
John, along those lines, on offense, what do you kind of expect from these backup weapons at running back and tight end and wide receiver? Who do you see kind of trying to step up and fill some of the void?
Yeah, it's going to be a challenge for sure. They come into the game, nobody's had more than 23 catches this year among the receivers of players in this game, and then nobody's had more than 23 rushes of players in this game. But, maybe some names to look out for. I think they kind of like the potential of this Dontrell Hilliard. Came in last week, really the first game that he played for them. Had 8 catches and 7 runs for 35 yards. Deontay Foreman is a guy that's been with them for a while and shown some potential as a running back, so he'll get some carries today. And then the cast of characters at a wide receiver is interesting. I think, probably when your number one option is a guy named Nick Westbrook-Akina, that might, kind of go a long way in explaining things. Nick's kind of a good, spot receiver from time to time, but he'll play a bigger role today. Another veteran, Chester Rogers, we'll get some passes thrown his way. And then there's a rookie, Des Fitzpatrick, who really, just kind of made his first impression really in the last week or two. Caught a touchdown pass, but also made a mistake or two that may have resulted in a pick. So I expect a conservative game plan, for the Titans offensively, certainly.
When we were listening to Mike Vrabel this week, and we were just talking about this before you came on and joined us, we thought he sounded a little bit low-key, low energy. Did you sense that at all, from him this week and from the team? If maybe almost to the point where they're a little bit defeated with all of the injuries that have taken place?
It's a little bit, of that kind of situation, like what can happen next. It's kind of incredible. This run that they've gone on in terms of injuries. And I think, as much as they try not to, I think everybody is kind of looking ahead a week when they get, at last they get their bye week and maybe they can start to reverse this process. But it's just, as I say right now, it's every time you turn around, another 1 or 2 players going down. And a lot of times it's not even been in games. It's been in practices during the week. You think you're fairly safe, and then boom, you lose another player or two. So, yeah, I think there's a little bit of a sense of disbelief. But, they have been pretty good, under Vrabel in games where they've been underdogs, games in which no one has given them a shot. So they'll at least give a solid effort today. I just think, it's going to be a case of being overmatched, but we'll see.
Defensively, how are the Titans right now? We obviously know about the people missing, from the offense, and you talked a lot about the different receivers that Tannehill's trying to develop chemistry with. How are they defensively in terms of where they were from the beginning of the season?
Yeah, it's a better situation defensively. It couldn't get much worse than what the offense is dealing with right now. They've got some standout players that'll be playing and that are in good form today. I think the names kind of to look out for on the defensive interior line, Jeffrey Simmons and Danico Autry really both having great years. Jeffrey Simmons as a down lineman, interior guy, already has 7.5 sacks. Autry has 5. Edge guy that some in your neck of the woods might be familiar with, the Boston College guy, Harold Landry, has 10 sacks already. It's a career high for him. He's really been playing well. And then, it's at safety, Kevin Byard, is back to kind of his Pro Bowl or All-Pro form. He's got 5 picks already this year, and he's got a really good complement there in Amani Hooker at safety. So they've got some strong players defensively. I think where they're a little shaky is interior linebacker. They may be missing 2 or 3 of their top players there, and at cornerback, the depth is a little spotty after the starters, Fulton and Jenkins. But they're better off defensively than they are offensively for sure.
Along those lines, John, how do you see the defense kind of matching up against the run? It seems like they had a really good start to the year, and that's really the key for the Patriots. I feel like today running the ball. Do you feel like the run defense is going to be really adversely affected, missing their 2 inside linebackers?
Yeah, that's the key question right there. One of them is they're certainly going to be without Rashaan Evans. They're going to be without David Long, and those are probably your 2 starters right there. And then Jayon Brown, who's also kind of a starter caliber player. He's questionable. We'll see in a few minutes whether he goes or not. But that is one thing the Titans have been greatly better at this year is stopping the run. I think they're a top 10 team right now. So I think that's going to be the key for them is if they can play well defensively, if they can then handle the Patriots running attack, which has been so good, maybe make Mac Jones a little bit less comfortable than he'd like to be in the passing game. If they can keep it close, or maybe if they can get a little bit of a lead and again, make the Patriots a little bit more uncomfortable than what they've been in here in games lately. That's about the really the best game plan, I think, for the Titans right now.
John, first of all, I wanted to correct myself. I gave you the wrong writer from Tennessee. It was actually Paul Kuharski that wouldn't make the pick. It was not Jeff.
Yes.
So I want to get Jeff right off the hook there.
We regret the error.
Yes, we regret the error. I wanted to ask you before we let you go, John, just about Ryan Tannehill and just his ability to, this is one of those games. Obviously, he's not going to have a lot of help. You talked about just how little experience all of the guys around him have with 23 rushes and 23 catches is the most that he's going to have to work with today. Is he capable of sort of, putting the team on his back and finding a way to come into Foxborough and pulling off the upset?
Yeah, we've seen ups and downs this year for Tannehill, more so than we have seen in his first 2 years. And that's a very good question. I thought certainly when Derrick Henry went down, attention shifted to Ryan Tannehill, and really that was, on him at the time. Hey, put this team on your shoulders. This is your chance to shine. This is your chance to say, hey, I'm not just a guy who hands the ball off to Derrick Henry. I can do more. And as I say, it's been up and down. He's already thrown more interceptions this year, than he did all of last year, and the touchdown to interception ratio, only 13-12 right now. And for those of us who watched Tannehill kind of resurrect his career the last 2 seasons, it's been kind of a surprise. And granted, as we've talked about, there are a lot of qualifiers involved here, and certainly his cast of receivers has been depleted and rotating. Offensive line has struggled like it has not before. At the same time, though, you can't have the kind of turnovers that Ryan Tannehill has had so far this year. Last week alone, 4 against the Texans, and that's the bottom line that really lost them the game. So this is Tannehill's opportunity, to really shine and say again that I'm not just a guy who hands the ball off to Derrick Henry. Tough circumstances, but if anybody's going to carry this offense, he has to be the guy.
All right, John. Well, it's Paul Kaharski time, where you either give us a prediction or you snub us, and then we speak ill of you for years to come.
And I'll call you by a different name in 5 years.
Yeah, right. You'll be misidentified by Paul anyway, so it won't matter.
That's right. Yeah, I think I may have talked to you guys before, and that was brought up. Yeah, I think it's the other time too. So yeah, you guys don't forget about these things.
No, and you know what? We're talking before the show today, we're doing the same jokes off the air to do. We're doing John Glennon. It's all the same crap with us year after year. So that's nothing new.
That's all right. Well, I don't want my name to go down in the record book, so I'll go with. I got to go with the home team up there. I just think, the Titans are very depleted. The Pats are red hot. I will go with the Pats probably 27-13 today. I think it's going to be a tough one for the Titans. So there you go. I'm no Paul Kuharski.
Okay. John, great stuff. We appreciate it as always. Read him on Twitter at Glennon Sports. John Glennon from SI.com. Appreciate it, John. Thank you.
Okay, thanks, guys.
All right,
Thanks,
see you
John.
later. John Glennon, there he goes. Not afraid to give a prediction. 27-13.
Yeah, sounds about right.
Okay, I don't know. That's what I always say.
I could see that kind of a game unfolding.
Yeah, a couple. Can I throw a couple stats out at you? Just
Stats.
From some of that?
Please.
The Tannehill, and Paul brought this up this week. The Titans are 2-4 this season when he throws more than 30 passes. He's 1-6 against the Patriots in New England. 6 touchdowns, 11 interceptions. That one win was the playoff game where he completed like 8 passes.
I think he threw for 79 yards or something like that.
Yeah, it was unnecessary. So that kind of lines up. Another interesting stat kind of coming out of that was, they've only given up 200-yard rushers all year. Week 1 against Arizona, and then somehow the Jags put up 198 yards on them. Otherwise, they've held everybody under 100 yards. So I think that's an interesting little point there. The matchup of the run defense. Can the Patriots kind of keep things rolling? Because I think if the Patriots are under 100 yards today, it's going to be an interesting game on how they pull it out without really having a productive running day. 120, 130 plus.
Yeah, and just points-wise, I know the Chiefs have been struggling, but they held the Chiefs to 3 points. 16 against the Rams, and it's just I don't think it's easy to score on. And as John said, defense not anywhere near as banged up as the offense is right now.
Yeah, some select spots.
Yeah.
Can I ask, you have the game-by-game there for Tennessee?
Yeah.
What did Jonathan Taylor do against them?
Indianapolis had 83 rushing yards total. I don't have the official
in both games.
Total.
In both games, he
87 and 83.
Oh, now that's impressive because that's the way that the Colts are built, and they were able to hold them down. Now,
a lot of turnovers in both games.
The Colts still scored points in those games, even though they didn't win them.
Taylor had 70 yards in that game.
Yeah, 25-16. The first one for the Titans to win, and then the second one was 34-31. So both overtime was the second one, too. So close games. A lot of turnovers, though. The first one, Titans had 3 turnovers, and the Colts had none. The second one, Titans had 2. Colts had 3. So close games.
Paul, could you at some point, it doesn't have to be right now, at some point find out from your medical field spouse why they say stat when they want something immediately in the hospital?
I will.
Okay, because you said stats. Yeah, give me stats. And I would like, yeah, stat. Give me the stat. Stat. Why stat? What is it? It's got to be short for something or an acronym for something. So
I want to Google it.
Okay.
I'm Googling it now.
Oh.
I don't know. Google it, Maz.
In the meantime, we will go to Pat in Agawam, out in the parking lot. Cousin Patty, what's happening, buddy?
Latin.
Yeah, it might have to be Patty in Foxborough today, guys.
All right. Hey,
nice.
Oh. Good call, Pat. Thanks. More?
One quick thing before I get to my point is, guys, the Patriots in about 15 trips here in Foxborough have only lost once, and that was John Elway's Broncos in '95. And as you know, Paulie,
different team. Wow.
Elway never lost to the Patriots.
No.
So it's looking
him
good
with his
today.
100 pounds of teeth running around out there beating us every time they played.
We are killing the Patriots.
Call the National Guard. I was at that game, too.
Yeah.
What is your other point on the game today? Well, first of all, Pat, how's the tailgating going?
Oh, awesome.
Okay.
Awesome. here with my oldest daughter. It's her first Patriots game, so we're just chilling. I'm grilling up some eggplant parm for her. I'm making myself some broth. Looking good, guys. So,
all right.
I know next week is a big week, but we can't look past these guys. I mean, I think for as depleted as they are, I still, like at the point I made during this week, I think Rage is going to have his guys ready, and I think this might be a little, your butt might get a little clenched in some points of this game, but I think we end up pulling out 27-17. And let's freaking go, baby! I'm ready to go.
All right. I don't appreciate the language in front of your daughter, but
untoward.
All the best, Pat. And allow me to say that eggplant parm is one of the top 6 things I do not want at a tailgate. That just does not sound.
He's a vegetarian.
Whatever. Okay. Turkey burgers. Or no, that doesn't work for a vegetarian.
Yeah, that's
garden burger. You don't need to know
Impossible
meat.
Burgers that Eric tells us taste the same. No, they don't.
No, they really don't. Now, they are tasty, but they don't taste the same.
If you have enough ketchup and,
condiments,
mayo,
pickles, onions.
Pat, thanks for the call, buddy. Have a good time of the game.
You got it.
You know what makes those Impossible Burgers really taste good?
No.
Chick-fil-A sauce.
Oh.
If you
Fool yourself.
Not only can you grab a couple extra when you're at the Chick-fil-A, you can buy it in a bottle, like at Target. They sell the Chick-fil-A sauce.
That sounds good.
Squeeze a little bit on a plate, dip the Impossible Burger in that.
Can I just have a regular burger with it? Is that?
Yeah.
I like how he says you can buy it in a bottle.
You
It sounds like Tessio. It's kind of the old-fashioned with the handle. We could put it in the back.
As somebody could get in there.
So Latin. I thought it was statum, which means instantly or immediately. So it's a Latin thing. I don't know. I guess like we feel the need in an emergency to go back to Latin and that let's go back to the root word. You really drive across how much of an emergency
screw around
it is.
Here.
This is original.
I'm speaking Latin, which happens in horror films and emergency rooms.
Right.
Okay. Excommunicados. It is not heresy. I will not recant. Todd in Greenville up next on the Patriots Pregame Show, fueled by Dunkin. Hello, Todd.
Hey, guys. I just got a quick question. Name one player that if they make if they have a really good game, not one of the normal ones, but just somebody like my pick is Jalen Mills. If he has a good game, I think we win. I think we win going away.
Oh, I like that.
We
Okay.
shut them down.
All right.
So just give me a guy, each one of you. Thanks.
Yeah. All right. Wow.
God.
Cooking up a little bathtub crank there in Greenville this morning.
I'd go front seven. I'd go Barmore. I mean, Judon's probably one he doesn't want because that's an obvious one. But if one of those guys are getting, Barmore or Godchow guy, I think if those guys are getting pressure and control the line, I think they'll be okay. I mean, Jalen Mills covering who? Who? I
Nick
don't
Westbrook Akina.
He took him out of the game. I don't know. I'd go up front.
Okay, you can answer the question without crapping on his answer.
Oh,
you can. Yeah,
sorry,
you
Todd.
can
I'm
if
sorry.
you want.
That's
I'm saying
Deuce.
that's an option.
That's Deuce. He has a smile on his face when he's taking rocket shots at you all the time.
What do we call that? A friendly assassin?
Yeah. He really is.
I like that.
Not
like
so friendly.
No.
How about a guy? Give me a guy. Give me a Jag.
Lawrence
Give me a Jag. If he has a good game, then they'll win.
Jawan Bentley. Just name him.
All right.
Name a random guy.
That's a good one, Jawan Bentley. That's a good answer. I could give you anybody in this game.
Cody Davis.
I think if the offensive, can I just use the offensive line as like a collective, or do I say like Shaq Mason? I'll just pick one offensive lineman.
How about Winovich?
Ooh, good one. Good one.
Is he playing?
I don't know. He was out there yesterday mixing it up. They're all celebrating, or on Friday, I guess, getting all amped up for the big Michigan-Ohio State tilt.
Yeah, it was fight song.
Big
day.
one for Harbaugh.
Yeah, good for him. Whatever.
I
can't stand him. I can't stand.
I know
that
you
team.
guys can't stand. I'm not a huge fan of Jim Harbaugh. I like John Harbaugh. I know
I like
around
John
here
too.
people don't like him.
I
but,
still don't mind him.
I was happy that Michigan won that game because I just hate the Big Ten, and that ups the chances that there's no Big Ten team in the playoffs. Because I think if Michigan loses the Big Ten championship and then they all have 2 losses.
Oh yeah.
And that's a possibility.
Oh, I would go so far as to say it's a likelihood because they're let's just face it,
they haven't won
as good as they are. They're not that good.
Yesterday, notwithstanding, their track record under Harbaugh in any kind of game of importance is not good.
I can't believe he's held on to his job after losing to Michigan State and Ohio State as many times as he has.
That Michigan State game that they lost, and I know that you're a huge Sparty guy, right? And we were watching it together. I was texting you back and forth. They had no business losing that game.
No,
Michigan.
0.
16-point lead in the second half. They were dominating.
Done.
And they found a way to lose.
Of course they did. Because he's not a great coach.
Yeah.
He's a good coach.
Which I thought he was a really good coach. I mean, he had done really, really well, coming up, and he went to Stanford. Then he got the Niners job. He completely turned the Niners around, got him to the Super Bowl, and then, it went bad. He goes to Michigan, and he can't win.
Yeah.
I mean, when I say he can't win, I mean, I know they're, 10-1 this year, but he has not been as effective as you would think they should be.
What's that big defender's name? Hutchinson? Is that the big
it's,
DN kid?
It's what's his face is
Steve's
son.
Yeah, he's a big boy.
See, you speak me. You know exactly what I was talking about.
There's only a couple Hutchinsons that I know.
Yeah, he's supposedly a top 5 pick.
He seems like he's one of those kind of guys.
He had a great game yesterday too.
Let's go to Eric in Connecticut here on the Ace Ticket Hotline, 855-PATS-500. Eric, thanks for joining us. What's up?
Hey, I'm sorry. I think he must have misheard me. It's Aaron.
Oh, Aaron. Okay. What's up, Aaron?
No, you're good. You're good. I just called because I finally got tickets to a game. I'm going to the Buffalo game next week on the Monday night game with the Patriots. And you guys do this all the time. So what is a good time to show up to? Because I'm from Connecticut, obviously. I drive all the way out to Buffalo.
Oh.
What is a good time to be there? And yeah,
you're gonna do some tailgating, or are you going right into the game?
I got friends that's gonna be there. They'll probably be tailgating. But for the most part, after a 6-7 hour drive from Connecticut to Buffalo, I just want to chill and watch the game.
Yeah.
For the most part.
I mean, I'd say get there at least 2 hours early, maybe a little bit more, just so you're able to get through the lines. I've never been to Buffalo,
and
so I can't speak to that. But
it is a sort of. It's in a neighborhood, so it can get kind of hairy with traffic. So you want to be there early.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. So about 2-3 hours in town.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I would do. Yeah.
And it's Buffalo, so it might be snowing too. So that's another.
Probably.
Yeah. Factor that in too. Would you like us to Waze it for you, Eric? Aaron, excuse me.
No.
Okay.
No, that's fine.
All right.
But I would like to ask, as far as the Buffalo Bills go, does losing that cornerback White, is that a big blow for them? Is that something that's we should be? Okay, I kind of figured that.
Yeah.
And that's so we win in the division, is what you're saying.
Fingers crossed.
I mean, we'll see what the Buffalo games hold, but yeah, that's a huge injury for that defense. I think that a lot of what they do is predicated on it. It's kind of similar to Gilmore. When Gilmore was in his heyday here, a lot of what they did defensively stemmed on him taking the other team's best player out of the game and going from there. Now they won't have that ability.
Right. Enjoy your time next week in Buffalo, Aaron.
Thank you, gentlemen, and y'all keep doing what you're doing. You're doing a great job all the time.
Appreciate it. Thanks, buddy.
Thanks, Aaron. Have a good one.
That's I have never been to a game in Buffalo. I hear it's a great time.
Not me either. My sister went to a bunch. It's a great place for a game. They're into it.
I did go as a fan once.
Yeah.
And did not overly enjoy it.
Oh.
Yeah.
Is that right?
Yeah.
I'm sorry to hear that.
Got some
Paul.
guff from the Bills fans?
Yeah, a little bit.
A little guff.
Yeah, a little bit. It's an interesting place. Let's put it that way.
Zoe hates it. Hates going there.
It's a terrible bus ride in. You get pelted with full beer cans.
He said, grandmothers in their house coats coming out on their front steps and flipping off the Patriots bus as they go by.
Right. Yeah.
Hostile environment.
Nice.
This is one. Sometimes I think Zoe is guilty of the hyperbole. Yeah. This is not one of those cases. I think that's an accurate depiction of what it's like going in. It's like going to a war zone.
Yeah.
You got to go incognito.
Let's go to Steve in New York. Has something about Mac Jones today. What do you got for us, Steve?
Hey, yeah. Just want to see how you guys doing today.
Good.
Great.
Good. I just have a question. So a lot of rookies, the defensive scheme is always to blitz. And what can a rookie do to punish the blitz so they back off?
Make plays.
Yeah.
I mean, you gotta get the hot receiver. You get the ball in the right places at the right time, and and stay composed. You have to know where it's coming. I mean, a lot of the success against the blitz is before the snap, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
And I think that's where Mac is really improved as the season's gone along. And, I don't think that they're a big, pay for, make you pay for the blitz, but I think he's done a good job. It hasn't been it hasn't been terrible against the blitz for Mac Jones. He's done a pretty good job of it. But, yeah, you just got to make plays.
Yeah, pre-snap, identifying, knowing where it's coming from, getting it out quick, everything Paul said. I think he's done a pretty good job, and that's where the progress continues to come. I think identifying those things, and I think Dean Pease got him a couple times last week, as you might expect him to, and I think Vrabel will probably get him a couple times today. Building off of what Dean Pease did a little bit last week.
Right, and not to say that they would stop blitzing altogether, Steve, but I think if you burn him a couple of times with a quick throw and allow somebody to not only make the completion but have those easy yards after the catch, teams are going to be less likely to continue blitzing. It's like, well, if he's just going to carve us up for 10 and 12-yard gains every time we blitz him, why don't we?
Yeah.
What are we doing?
What are we doing, guy?
And I don't think it's going to be a lot of exotic stuff. I think it's more, Simmons is winning inside and able to get some push, and Landry off the edge. I mean, those guys can both play. I mean, they've both racked up a bunch of sacks. What do I got? With 7.5 for Simmons and 10 for Landry. I mean, a lot of the pressure comes from those guys, and it's not because they're moving them around or anything like that. They just win. They're good players. So I think that'll probably be more what it's about, execution.
Let's go to Tony in Canada. Tony, you're on the Patriots Pregame Show, fueled by Dunkin. What's up, Tony?
Hi, guys. Happy Football Sunday again.
Thanks, Tony.
And a happy Football Sunday to you. Good morning, football.
My good sir.
I've been excited about this game all week, let me tell you. Actually, the next 4 games. But this is, for me personally, this is a payback for 2 years ago. I'm hearing a lot about Vrabel and how the mystique of Vrabel and everything else. I wonder if hopefully our players are not buying into that. Like, it's kind of like the Belichick mystique, only it's Vrabel. But,
we'll just take it point by point. I don't think the players care much that Vrabel is coaching the team. I think Vrabel cares to a certain extent, but to Paul's point, how does that really impact the game? Of course he cares. Right. But, so what? Is it going to change anything? Is it going to do anything differently? Now, there was some I'm sure we talked about it at the time, some really interesting game management on Vrabel's part. When these two teams met, what was it, 2 times ago with the penalties at the end of the game?
Yep. Yeah, it was the playoff game.
To bleed the clock.
Yep.
Stuff like that. Now, is that something that he was just sitting on and waiting to use and couldn't wait to unwrap that in front of Belichick, because it was a very Belichickian type
Belichick had done it earlier in that season against the Jets.
Yeah. It was really I guess a kind of symbolic moment, when somebody kind of turns the tables a little bit and uses a Belichick trick against Belichick. Yeah. Belichick.
Well, I guess
for the players, Tony, I don't think they care.
The big thing about Vrabel, as everyone's saying, is he has his team always ready to play, and I think that's true. And something your guest said, actually, that I wanted to mention as well. I guess in the last 5 games where the Titans have been, say, quote-unquote, the underdog, they've managed to cover the point spread as well. So everyone's saying that, the Titans were expecting a really tough game from the Titans. But my key to this game, it will be this, first down. I guess the Titans are probably going to want to run the ball. So if we can kind of hold them to short gains on first down and put them in passing yards in second and third.
Yep.
With our rush, hopefully we can put Tannehill. It could be where Tannehill's team goes this week.
All right, fair enough.
Now, yeah, I mean, I think that's the formula.
Yeah.
Put the game in Tannehill's hands. Yeah. Absolutely. I don't know if he's seeing ghosts or anything, but he just doesn't have anybody to work with.
Yeah.
I mean, all of the players are not playing like this. He has no running backs, no wide receivers. So I'm not exactly sure where he goes with the ball, because I just don't think they have any options.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm hoping this will be another game like it was against the Browns. That's what I'm looking for.
Oh yeah, well, that would be delightful. Tony, thanks for the call. Enjoy the game today. We have to get to this email before it gets much later. Greg from the billing department.
Yes.
Says, hey guys, I'm just trying to get opinions as I'm losing my sugar honey iced tea. I am freaking out and cannot figure out who to pick for today's Survivor Pool.
Oh.
Paul Perillo is our Survivor Pool expert.
Not so much of an expert. Been out for weeks now.
Okay, but last year you did very, very well. I am one of 3 left, and a chance at just under $11,000.
It's a tough week. A lot of bad versus bad, good versus good. Not a lot of disparity.
There are. It is a tough week.
He can't take the Patriots, Bengals, Falcons, or Eagles. So he's leaning toward either Tampa, and they have the Ravens today.
No, they have the Colts.
They have the Colts
today.
today.
I would stay away from
Philly?
that one.
What about Philly at Giants?
Oh.
He can't take the Eagles.
He
Didn't he just say that?
He said, I'm leaning toward Tampa or Baltimore.
Baltimore's got Cleveland.
With the Chargers as a dark horse. Ugh.
Chargers play who?
At Denver. That's tough. That's tough. Because, I was saying to Paul before, I wonder how Jonathan Taylor's going to do against that Bucs defense that the Patriots really didn't even try to run against. I think that negative -1 yard. That's a real interesting matchup. I'd probably feel pretty good about Tampa winning that game now.
Between those three, Tampa, Baltimore, the Chargers, I don't like it either, but I would take Tampa.
Go with Tom Brady.
I would take the Chargers out of those three.
Chargers in Denver.
I don't like Tampa in that game. I think the Colts are hot.
Okay.
Hot.
Which is, yeah, it's a tough one. It's a guaranteed loss right there.
All right, so Deuce and I like the Bucs, and Paul likes the Chargers at Denver. So do with that information what you will, Greg. Good luck. I feel responsible.
I know, and I hate that, especially since, like I said, I've been out for like over a month.
And I hate that. You know what it's like to be hurt.
I hate it.
Brandon in Indiana, up in Indiana where the tall corn grows. What do you got for us, Brandon?
Hey, guys. How's it going?
Good.
Great.
So I've been meaning to ask this a couple weeks now. This is my first time calling in, been listening for a while. But I know everyone's kind of been dogging Nikhil and Jonnu and just how they kind of haven't been really producing like we've hoped they have, especially Nikhil and with the draft capital and the Jonnu with how much we're paying him. But I've kind of thought about it, especially playing against Atlanta without him. Could you see either of them kind of fitting as a Cordell Patterson type of player? As in, I know we put Jonnu in the backfield a couple of times, but is there any way you could see that becoming more consistent and maybe working with him?
With Jonnu Smith? We saying? Yeah.
Jonnu and
not with Harry. I could see it with Smith because I don't think Harry's fast enough to do stuff like that, but Jonnu Smith is. I think that there's a chance that you could use him as sort of like a Swiss Army knife kind of offensive player.
That's kind of what they've done with him.
Yeah, it seems like they've been trying to do that a little bit.
Screens.
Finding ways to get the ball in his hands without necessarily conventional ways. You put him in the backfield, like you said, Brandon, and they've had some screens like Mike just mentioned. Yeah, I could see them trying to implement him in some of those ways that they've used Patterson, but I don't think that's in Harry's skill set. I don't look at him as being a dynamic presence with the ball in his hands.
He's a big inside receiver who can block in the run game right now.
All right, Brandon.
Patriots inactives are out, and I don't believe any of them were on the injury report. So all of the guys that were questionable are up and active. Devin Asiasi, Ronnie Perkins, Jarrett Stidham, Yasir Durant, and J.J. Taylor are your inactives for the Patriots.
Yeah. You ain't playing, so pretty much.
So I think
full power. Yeah.
None of those guys I don't believe were among the 10 or so players listed as questionable.
And Trent Brown and Barmore had missed practice on Thursday. They're both a go. Ramondre Stevenson had popped up on Thursday as well. He's a go. So, for the most part, they're pretty much full power.
The Titans are not.
All right.
No.
I'm curious to see if the Titans have enough players dressed today.
Oh, if they don't even get up to the
46.
Wow.
Yeah, I think, and that kind of happened in that Indianapolis Thursday night game here several years ago. It's probably like 5 years ago now. They didn't have enough players to play in the game, and they actually had guys dressed that didn't play, which almost never happens for anybody other than the backup quarterback.
So, as John Glennon told us earlier, that the NFL record for players used in a season is 84, and I believe he said the Titans are at 81 or 82.
82. Yeah. They're gonna break that record today, more than likely.
Wow. All right, so, we'll see how many they're actually able to put out there on the field as we get closer and closer to kickoff here on the Patriots Pregame Show, which is fueled by Dunkin. And thank you to Bose, proud to be the official sound and official headphones of the New England Patriots and the NFL. Bose Quiet Comfort Earbuds. Rule the quiet. Learn more at Bose.com.
TouchView Interactive is here to support your hybrid learning, distance learning, and video conferencing needs with easy-to-use tools that allow end users to collaborate, interact, and present seamlessly. TouchView Interactive offers a comprehensive line of accessories and software to support your audio-visual needs. Outfit your classrooms and presentation spaces with the future of interactive display technology. Visit touchview.com for more info. Offered by the Oakers Company, celebrating 100 years of service and support.
Join the conversation by calling the Ace Ticket hotline at 855-PATS-500 or email the show at webradio@patriots.com.
Let's try. I don't know how this is going to go. Spee in Fresno. Spee?
Gobble, gobble, gobble.
Live from our studios inside Gillette Stadium, here's Hardy.
Was someone yelling out there in the hall? I just heard someone yelling out there.
Yeah, well, brought back memories of Ray Lewis.
Hope it wasn't one of those pregame speeches.
Or
somebody dropped a cable or something.
Al Michaels speaking at not using his indoor voice.
Yes. Well,
oh my God, that was out of line.
Yeah.
But anyone else who gets out of line on the other side of that door while we're in here trying to do the Patriots pregame show, who should we send out?
Watch out.
LePan
is intimidating
has
presence.
the size, but Morrell has the skills.
Yes,
he's got the eyes.
He has a very
too.
specific set of skills.
You just see the darkness between his eyes. He'll do whatever needs to be done.
Well, it's not even you know what? Talk about the quiet assassin. You look at him. He's a nice enough looking guy, but he knows how to do things to people.
Set of skills.
Confidence thing. All you got to do is get right up in their face. They'll back down.
Yeah.
I don't think that would work for me. As the Fonz once said to Richie Cunningham, with that howdy-doody face, you could only be so tough.
Did you ever watch Happy Days, Deuce?
A little bit.
Okay.
A little bit,
All right.
yeah.
I won't even ask the Mats. They have no idea. All right.
Sing you the theme song.
Yeah. Okay, you could. Well, there were two theme songs. Originally they went with Rock Around the Clock.
That is correct.
That was the first one for what? First couple seasons, probably?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sounds about right.
And then they
went to the Happy
I
Days.
didn't say it was a Happy Days Kanye-saur here.
Kanye-saur?
Kanye-saur?
Is that like Kanye West?
Kanye-saurus.
Ugh.
Wow, we really went off the rails there quickly.
Yeah. Well, this is what happens when you get us all after a long break at the end of a Thanksgiving weekend. Paul's playing a little hurt. I am,
No one even knew that.
You were out of the country 24 hours ago.
Thank you, right?
Yeah. That was impressive.
20.
He even got here 11 minutes before the show started.
I was cutting it a little closer than I wanted to this morning.
Well, I was wondering. I just kept saying to Mike, if he was going to be late, he would text. He'd let us know. And then I was like,
I should have left my house before 10, and that one's on me. But
before 10, I had to leave at 8. He has to leave at 10.
But I decided to start unpacking this morning. Plus, for my man purse, which I use, for travel also, I had to switch all the stuff out.
Oh,
and
problems.
Gotta get a second man purse.
But there's certain things, that never lets me down. You know what I'm saying? Well, let's go back to the emails here. webradio@patriots.com. You can join the show that way. This is from Addison in Fresno. Hello, all. As noted at the top of this fabulous show, the complexion of this game has changed from a measuring stick game. This led me to wondering, if you could have the Patriots play any team in the league as a measuring stick game, who would you pick? I think that's an excellent question. I would choose the Packers, who have an offense that can attack through the air or on the ground, and a defense that would challenge the Pats' offense. I'll take my answer off the air.
That's funny. I like the Packers are a good pick.
That is a good pick. I mean, I don't want to be boring, but I want to see Buffalo. That's what you're kind of building towards. You want to play the division. You want to win the division, and you got 2 games in the next 3 weeks coming up against them. I think, they have some flaws, and I don't think that they can quite stress the Patriots' defense like maybe some of a handful of other offenses. But I think that they have enough to really present a bunch of challenges to them, especially with how mobile Josh Allen is. I mean, I just think he's such a pain in the butt with those third downs, and I mean, he's just so hard to bring down. And if it's third and short, he's a problem. But their lack of a run game will certainly kind of play into how that all plays out. But that's the game I want to see next week.
Yeah,
Buffalo's a good one too.
Yeah, unfortunately, the obvious one is the measuring stick, both metaphorically and I guess literally for the division. It's like, well, how do you stack up in your division? Okay, well there it is. There's one of the best teams in the league and got them next week.
Yeah,
that's the one. I think the Packers' answer is excellent.
The Rams, I mean, they're
the Rams
a very good offense.
The Packers, and obviously they played Tampa, and I think that was a good one. And I think that they learned something about themselves in those 2 games, the Tampa and Dallas games, that that they were unable to win. But I do think it gave them a little bit of belief.
Well, and I know that you don't like this stuff, Paul, but I'm sorry, that Tampa game had so much behind it in the build-up to it.
Oh, yeah.
And it's like, how does it really affect what goes on in the field? I don't know. There's no way to really measure it, but I got to believe something. I think if that's just a normal Tampa team without a quarterback, with all the history here, I don't know how it plays out differently, but it's different. It's just the circumstances are different, and I think that did factor into how that game went down.
I agree.
Sure.
Absolutely agree.
Also from Addison, a prediction. As for the real world, I think the Titans are just too beat up, and I do expect the Pats to hold serve at homecoming off of the mini-bye, 27-10. Okay.
Yeah.
Folk legend hits another one from 50-plus late to put the game out of reach. Here's the thing. If it's 24-10 late, the game's out of reach.
Right.
They've
gone the whole game scoring 10 points.
Yeah, I don't think it's anything special. By the way, did you watch the end of Alabama-Auburn last night?
No. Sorry.
I missed the end. I had an engagement.
Okay.
I watched the first half. It was I think it was 10-0 when I left.
Yeah.
So it was probably early second.
And it was 10-3 and the game was still over, and next thing you know, all ties up, and it's all ties up, and 3 overtimes later, Nick Saban is smiling and being friendly to the sideline reporter after the game. Amazing how, his mood can change from being a completely you want to be careful. I want to choose my words carefully here. Meanie to being just completely gregarious in the.
I will say, in those halftime interviews with the coaches as they're leaving the field are often, quite useless.
Yeah.
That wasn't the case yesterday with Jamie Erdahl, with Nick Saban, and she basically just very pointed, what went wrong, and that they couldn't move the ball, and the quarterback was getting killed. They couldn't, and he's like, we got to find a way to protect the passer, and if we don't get that straightened out, it's not going. And he just said it bluntly, we're not blocking. We can't block, and until we figure out how to block, we're not going to score. And you saw it. I mean, they couldn't move the ball.
I don't think they found a way to protect him late in that game, but that kid made some passes, and the receivers made some catches that I was
97-yard drive, right?
I got a weird seat last night, which had plenty of room, but no TV. Yeah. And I was arguing with my wife afterwards. She's like, you did have a TV. It was in your armrest. And I'm like, no, there was a tray table in my armrest. There was no TV in there. We had no TV in front of me.
Why did you have to have that voice? I don't think that was very polite.
It was a long trip, a long day of travel. We weren't.
You're glad to be here today?
No, yeah, nobody liked it. Anyone by the end of it.
Yeah, I hear you.
But
you can't fly without a TV now. It's just you
gotta have
it's a no-go.
I had a great book, and I was completely happy with it. But the person, like a row in front of me across the aisle, had a big TV, and they were watching the Alabama game, so I watched it, and I would have turned it off. 10-3, they're not going to score, and they did, and it was. I don't know how you guys feel about the penalty kicks, which they resort to in overtime for college football. Once you get a possession each and then you just go to the 2 points, I kind of dig it. It's a little different. I don't mind it.
Yeah, I think it's better than going forever from the 25 because I think that's putting a lot of wear and tear on players.
Yeah. One of the best college football games I saw was my alma mater, Holy Cross, out at San Diego when Jim Harbaugh was the coach, like way back when. But one of the best games I've ever seen. Went to overtime, and I don't know if that rule was implemented yet, but they just went for 2. It was like, we're going to win or to lose it right here, and they won. It was just an awesome game.
The old rule was to start the third overtime, you had to go for 2 after a touchdown.
Mm-hmm.
Now it's no touchdowns. You just have to go for 2.
You just got to go
for the third overtime.
Right. But it was a hell of a finish to that game.
I shouldn't say you have to go for 2. It's just 2-point conversions.
Mm-hmm. Just a 2-point conversion.
Starting in the third overtime.
Right. This is from Lawrence. Gunnar Olszewski. Do we only use Gunnar for punt returns because he lacks the complete ability and skill he needs to take a starting or even part-time role as a slot receiver in an almost Edelman or Welker type of way? Or could it have something to do with reasoning as not wanting him to get hurt, seen as he's so important to the return team? I think it's the former.
Yeah, I don't think they feel like he has progressed to the point where he can be relied upon to be a regular in the passing attack.
Yeah.
But I do think he has the skill set to be valuable in that role.
Yeah, I mean, I think he's kind of the 5th receiver. I think Nikhil kind of as the 4th receiver is heavy blocking and contributing that way. But he's out there every now and then. He's played a handful of snaps.
Yeah. I do not downplay his importance in the return game, and you saw it.
Come on,
a few weeks ago when he had the 3 returns of 20 or more yards, that's huge. It really it is such a gift to the offense to have that field position where it's like, oh, you're already across midfield, kid. Just go ahead.
Kid.
Yeah.
Okay.
Just go ahead. Pick up 1 first down, and you're all but guaranteed 3 points.
Because
you got Nick
the
Folk.
golden leg.
Where's my good list? I'm going to put him on there right now.
Yeah, I mean, I teased Gunnar a little bit about last year being an All-Pro just because I felt like there was maybe 4 games that he really had a bunch of returns that just gave him enough to qualify. But I think before he got hurt and missed that 2 games ago, he was starting to really string together and starting to show some consistency with that. And I think if he can, then it's not so much he had a few good games last year. He's really starting to be consistent in the return game. I still hold my breath every time he carries. He seems like you got to be reckless to be a punt returner, but he just seems on the verge of getting killed.
Yeah.
A lot of the times, which obviously happened a few weeks ago when he had to miss the game with a concussion.
Well, good news. Paul's out of the studio. That means
Get on YouTube. Let's see what else about Pop-Tarts you guys have.
We could do Pop-Tarts today.
Oh, Pop-Tarts.
I can do an hour on Pop-Tarts,
really?
But I'd rather do stadium music today.
All right, good.
And
I like
if
that.
you were programming the music in the stadium, now there have been some songs that have come and gone over the years. Ballroom Blitz has been one that has irked many a people. And when I say many, I mean me and the 2 guys I do the midday show with weekdays on the Sports Hub. But there is something about that song that it's grating. It just gets right into your spinal column. And the man in the back says, "Everyone is down a blink of an eye."
I liked it in Wayne's World. I liked it in Wayne's World. I don't need it here.
I don't need it here.
Interesting choice too. Pregame here that they play that I kind of am starting to dig more and more is they play "Roll with the Changes." REO Speedwagon, always like right in between like introductions and kickoff. That's become kind of a staple.
Do you know where that came from?
No, please tell me. Really?
I'm telling you, I just in terms of the marks we make on the human experience. Okay, there are very few. Maybe you bring a child into the world. Maybe you build a bridge. For me, it was shipping up to Boston as Jonathan Papelbon's walkout music. I got that done through an on-air campaign. Thank you very much. And on our show, we started playing Josie, Your Love, the outfield.
Well, there you go.
We were responsible for that becoming a thing, right? And I said to Jim one day, years ago, I'm like, you want to get Zoe going? And I just had a feeling. I said, play REO Speedwagon, Roll with the Changes. He's going to snap out, right? And he did. And it became a thing that we started playing, and we used to do it like I think it was our Thursday song for a while. And we used to sing it. We would go to Super Bowls. Right? We'd be on Radio Row, and, there are 100 other stations there, and they can't hear the music, but we can. And woman, I am willing to make the fact that we are on the brink of.
I like it.
All right? So they started playing it here at Gillette, and I'm like, you're welcome. Yeah, I know. It's a jam.
Yeah.
Okay, so you're welcome. I will take credit for that one.
It's become like
Jim Louth gets credit for Josie. I get credit for Roll with the Changes.
Here I am listening to it, literally coming in because it's kind of become my drive-in song. And little did I know I would be sitting across from the man who put it at the forefront. That's amazing.
But there are some other songs that get played that are just phenomenal, and I don't know that the crowd really appreciates it. Is it TJ? Does the music?
I think so.
Okay, so he plays a version of the song Supernaut, which is a Black Sabbath song, but he plays the
that one.
I want to reach out and touch the sky. Supernaut. Bum, bum. I think it's Trent Reznor and maybe Ministry together. Like, it's some...
He dug up his own kind of hard-hitting version.
Oh, yeah. We used to play it like an alternative radio back in the 90s. I think that's a great one. I'd like to see them mix in a little more old-school hip-hop. I think that would work. I think the crowd would love that stuff. I mean, and Morel, you tell me, would it be too cliche to do, like, California Love every once in a while? Right?
Not at all.
I mean, that's a jam. You want to talk about, like, getting
right out of the gate.
Pan and I were doing It's Tricky before. It's just a jam.
Yeah. Well, I think they do play It's Tricky after Trick plays or something. If you'll notice, you pay really close attention. The stuff generally has to do something with what's going on in the field, a ballroom blitz after a blitz.
Well, can I say this? I thought, when I was listening to Roll with the Changes, I wondered if that was kind of like we're in the post-Brady, we're kind of rolling with the changes
100%.
That was it. There you go.
Yes, that's part of it.
Multiple levels.
That's part of it.
Levels going on.
But they did play the outfield, Your Love, 2 times earlier in the season when they did not end up winning the game. And it used to be kind of like the unspoken You Should Be Dancing Gino's song for the Celtics. They would play that once the game was put away. And they played it twice earlier this season in games the Patriots didn't end up winning. I'm like,
they're trying.
You've ruined it. It's ruined.
Didn't Josie blow up in the 2014 playoff game against, I think it was like kind of a moment against Baltimore perhaps in the second half where all of a sudden they played it at just the right time. Everybody was into it. I think the Patriots had just maybe taken the lead. There was like a certain moment within that game, I think, that blew it up to like the point where it kind of became a thing.
I believe that was the year. And after they won the Super Bowl in Phoenix against Seattle, we had a guy from the outfield record a liner for us.
Yeah.
And where he said, it's like, hey, this so-and-so from the outfield, thanks for showing the love for Your Love all season long. They wouldn't say anything about the Patriots or New England. They didn't want to alienate any part of their American fan base. But they did, like drop a liner. And I believe the Patriots were trying to get the outfield to come and play, but they wouldn't because their bass player had died. They're like, no, we're not doing that anymore.
Yeah.
There's just really the two of us, and now the lead singer is passed down, so it doesn't matter.
And what's that song about, actually?
I believe...
Is it about a guy whose girlfriend's gone and he's going to go find someone else to take her spot? Is that accurate?
Sure.
What does it have to do with football? I don't know.
It was written in a simpler time, Deuce, and that's okay. But I think musically, there's a lot of good stuff that goes on at the stadium. We would all like to see little things added in. I'd like the old school hip hop from time to time. But when he drops in Danzig Mother, it still works.
Oh, yeah.
Still works.
Mars the Bringer of War, that one. That one gets
still
me
works.
Right, cutting right into it, like third downs and stuff.
Right.
No, I gotta love the music. And of course, AC/DC coming out of the tunnel. That's always been kind of a standby for here.
Ozzy,
those about
AC/DC. Those things, and again, whether they happen organically or somebody orchestrates it from the beginning, the one thing I will say, and this is going to be the toughest campaign of them all, is changing the touchdown song.
Oh, You don't like the This Is Our House, the
Who
Bon
does?
Jovi deep dive?
Show me who likes it other than Bill Belichick and John Bon Jovi. I don't even know if John Bon Jovi likes it.
Felt like they kind of purposely wrote it to be a touchdown celebration song.
It's kind of like that Saliva song, "Ladies and Gentlemen." I'm like, oh, did you write this song to get used in wrestling matches? Because I believe they did, and they do. You know, it's too obvious.
On the nose, I know.
It's too obvious.
Well, at this point, it's become the thing, so it's hard to derail that once it's gone.
That's why I say it's going to be the toughest campaign of them all.
Mm-hmm.
But, you know, you got to stand for something or you'll fall for anything. John Mellencamp said that. Uh-oh. What's happening now?
All these are there going.
He's really on these injuries
to
today.
Beetle and Gasper? Okay, well.
He was blind?
No, Paul is Paul's in no mood for anyone's. He's not going to suffer any foolishness today. I can tell.
No, too many injuries for the Titans. He's
too many injuries for him. Oh, well, that was a good time.
Good music.
I'm glad we had a chance to talk about that.
I learned something.
8-5. What's that? Oh, about the
yeah. Roll with the changes.
Roll with the changes.
That's all this guy.
855-PATS-500. Email webradio@patriots.com. We have Dan in Virginia who says, "G'day, PU crew." This isn't PU.
Yeah.
This is PPS.
PPGS. PPS.
Yeah. Pregame's one word. Okay. Firstly, with this being Thanksgiving week, I am thankful for all of you and everything the Patriots.com crew does. Oh, well, we're thankful for you, Dan. You're welcome. I hope you all had a good turkey day, blah, blah. Given the attrition on the Titans, has Paul ever... He has, I believe. Has Paul ever given the nod with the trademark thing? How do you make that little trademark thing in an email? I have to learn how to do that. Before a game. Just kidding. We don't want to get cocky or pencil in anything, of course. That said, in addition to Mike is back from practice and Eric will be by later, there really should be a theme song for Paul, and it always works out for the Patriots. Go Pats.
Yeah, I don't. People talk about it like it's a bad thing that it always works. I like it. I'm all on board for. Hey, I don't feel bad for the Titans right now, and the Patriots need another win. We're on the verge of playoffs and seeding and all that. So hey, it's tough luck for the Titans, but. You know what? You got to go out there and get a win. That's your perspective has changed on it. Love to see the Patriots not backslide at all today and kind of play down. I don't think they will, just based on I think they respect this team, so I think that they'll come out with a good effort.
I honestly, I feel like I have to say this year after year after year, but don't take this for granted. You had one down year with the team where you still managed 7 wins, okay? There are teams out there who have not had 7 wins in their last 2 years of playing. You are now, after that one down year with 7 wins, sitting at 7-4 with a game today that everyone thinks is going to get you, one step closer to a real playoff chance here with a rookie quarterback. It's unthinkable. The run of success and the way this team has been able to turn it around after that one down year. Where, again, I have to reiterate, your down year was 7-9, which is putrid by Brady standards, but by NFL standards, it's like, oh, that was your down year? That's not all of that down. It's it's not great to go below 500, but yeah, you're a game below 500. So what?
Yeah.
Don't take it for granted. No. It's unbelievable.
No, and they've done just a remarkable job. And I mean, I think going into the season, you hope that they will be knocking on the door of playoffs and competing but there was always those disclaimers of, the Mack and Cam thing at first, and then it became, well, what's a rookie quarterback really going to be able to do, and how are these, all these veteran free agents going to assimilate into the system, and so it's been a different challenge for the coaching staff this year. But I think it just kind of illustrates that when you have, more talent on the team than they had last year, when it was practice squad guys, and you had injuries, you had opt-outs, you had just I think in retrospect now you look back at that team and are like, my God, what were we watching out there? Like, who were these guys?
Right.
A lot of those guys are not playing this year at all. So I think it's come together in a really good way. And I think now we're getting to the point where, all right, they've kind of met the expectations of probably going to be a playoff team. No matter how the season kind of goes, I would expect they'll be in the playoffs now. But the question is, how good can they be? How can they be one of these teams that is pushing for the bye or is really going to knock off Buffalo and give them really something to think about when going into the season? I don't think anyone was talking like that. I think at best you're like, well, second, sneak into the playoffs, but it's probably Buffalo's division. So I think we'll find out now this week. Win today, you're in the top seed conversation. Win the next couple weeks, and then you're really talking.
All right, let's go back to the phones here, 855-PATS-500. We'll talk with Kevin, who is in Burlington. What do you got for us, Kevin?
Hey, Hardy, I wanted to comment on the music. I have a song. I don't know if you can get behind it, but back in the 90s, there was this song, Rock and Roll No. 2 from Gary Glitter.
Yeah.
No, yeah.
I wish you could separate the song from the artist. I know, there's a controversy with Gary Glitter, right?
Yeah. There's a controversy, and what can I say, Kevin? I always thought the song was cheesy and not much of a song.
Hey.
I understand why it was popular in stadiums, but it's almost like Deuce said, it's a song that was written so it could be played in stadiums, and for that, automatic disqualification. I'm not falling for it.
It's been 20 years now, so I think it's time for a comeback.
Yeah, I don't care if that one comes back. I really don't.
Like a remix of it, maybe.
Yeah.
It was a big hockey one. That was popular in hockey stadiums everywhere.
I used to play it on the old instant replay machine for the New Mexico Scorpions. Yeah, the crowd loved it.
Get them into it.
Yeah, but thanks, Kevin. We appreciate it. Paul Perillo's back with us now.
Hello.
Sounds like things got a little heated in there.
No.
Morel was laughing because at some point during your interview, you started going blah, 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 blah.
Oh, yeah, we were doing the they were talking about Mac Jones, starting to play some games now in cold weather. And I don't think, like today, it's cold. It's 35 degrees. It's cold. But I don't think that will be an issue because it didn't seem, I don't know if you guys disagree, it didn't seem overly windy to me. Did you feel like it was a windy day?
No.
Walking across the parking lot, I thought it seemed kind of calm. And I do have some concerns. Mike knows this. He's been needling me about this. I have some concerns because I don't think Mac Jones has the strongest arm. And I think if you introduce some weather conditions, that sometimes those can exacerbate some of your limitations.
Yep.
Cutting the ball through the wind, I don't think is a foregone conclusion for a guy like Mac Jones who's never really had to do that. So as I was saying that, with Beetle and Chris, I said, I don't think he has the greatest arm. I hesitate to say that because now I know my Twitter feed's going to blow up, and it doesn't have to be a strong arm. He gets it where it needs to go. What do you care? And that's where the blah, 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 blah.
Wow.
Blah, blah, blah.
It was funny, though, Paul, because I came back in from practice, I guess, Wednesday, and, we're making the joke of, like, this was now the second coldest practice Mac Jones has ever, just kind of tongue-in-cheek. But then you go on they're actually asking him in the when he had his press availability, like, was this the coldest practice you've ever had before?
Things that Mike and I have, used as sport, we're just making fun of, people are using as actual storylines.
Oh, yeah, but they're becoming like main focuses of their story. Yeah, well, there's lot of holes to fill in that.
But I mean, but at the same time, I think that there is a level that this is a rookie quarterback from Florida who didn't play a lot in college, and so we're getting to know him. There's all kinds of situations he hasn't been in yet, and he the weather around here, cold weather games. We know the quarterback that played here last. A lot of the games that he played were defined by his performance in weather games and cold games and all that. So it's something Mac has to show, but. I don't think it's unfair to talk about it, but I do think it can get a little bit overblown unless it's
it has got
real serious. All right, it's in the 30s. That's one thing, but when it's in the teens, it's at night, it's windy. Tennessee 2003, those kind of games. That's a little different.
I wonder if you go around the league, and this would require a lot of research and effort. But we talk about rookie drop-offs and how they kind of hit a wall. The season is longer than what they've had to play before. We know that it coincides with colder weather in many parts of the country. Mm-hmm. Is there more of a rookie wall or rookie drop-off for the rookies in the colder climates? Does that factor into it as much as that just mean the length of the season?
That'd be an interesting study.
Yeah.
That's what I'm serious.
I am too.
And maybe break it down.
Do it.
Yeah.
But
by position too. I mean, a quarterback, huge, but probably less impact maybe on a running back, perhaps, if they're just able to run. But yeah, it's a good question.
While you were out of the room, Paul, we discussed in-stadium and in-game music. Are you okay with missing that conversation?
Absolutely.
I figured. See, I'm picking and choosing.
It'll keep me out of trouble.
There you go.
So we got that. And also there was an email that came in.
Okay, I'm going to bite.
What?
Why does Scott Zolak dictate the in-stadium music?
Why?
Like, we play, like, REO Speedwagon and...
That was me.
Josie.
That was
Like,
me.
why?
REO Speedwagon was me.
No, but like, why do we let...
Because it's a great song and I know what I'm doing. I know the songs that will get people going. If you put me in a club... like today, I couldn't do it. 20 years ago, I knew at what point I needed to play Prince Erotic City to get the people back on the dance floor. The manager at the House of Blues in Las Vegas oftentimes said to me,
That's a good pluck right there.
he would do this, bring it down, because not enough people were drinking. They were all dancing.
Get 'em
He's
over
like,
to the bar.
Get them over to the bar. And at that point, I had to play a stinker to get them to clear out a little bit and go spend
Now,
some money.
when you're like playing those songs, are you behind the doing like this thing? Like, are you getting the crowd going like with this stuff kind of thing?
Absolutely.
I like it.
Yeah.
I like it. Right into it.
It was not good for my overall health and well-being, that lifestyle. So it didn't last, years and years. But one quick question before we get to the over-unders. Dan in Virginia and Michigan wanted to know if you've ever given the nod before a game. And not that he wants to today, no penciling
there's
in
definitely
wins.
been games that I've gone into with the thought of there's absolutely no way the Patriots can lose this game today.
Right, but the
nod, I told you, the earliest nod ever, I believe, occurred in 2004.
Okay.
When Bethel Johnson returned the opening kickoff in Cleveland. I looked at Freddie and gave him the nod. I believe it was 14 seconds into the game. I said, this game is over. And I believe they won 45-14. Do we have a media guide somewhere I can look that up? If only I had like the internet or something.
Oh, here it is.
I mean, I can probably get to it before you do in your media guide there. December 5th, 2004. Patriots versus the Browns, 42-15.
42-15.
There you go. All right. Done and done.
That was the quickest nod in Perlow nod history. Now, I also, in full disclosure, I will say, I have given the nod and had it backfire. It's not like every time I give the nod, the game is over and the Patriots are infallible.
Interesting.
There have been times where I've given the nod where, they've eventually gone on to lose. And there have also been times where, like, the integrity of the nod was misguided. In other words, when I gave the nod, the Patriots were in total control. They then lost control and maybe wound up winning, but that's not really what the nod's supposed to be about.
The nod is it's over. There's no chance.
The nod is the competitive portion of this
it.
game is over.
Yeah, there you go.
Wow. 14 seconds. Okay.
It was 14 seconds, right?
It was 14 seconds.
Wow. Bethel Johnson.
Right.
He gone.
Corey Dillon rushed up the middle for a 4-yard touchdown for the second score of that game. Vinatieri kicked the extra point, and it was 14-0. Good grief. They were up 14-0 very quickly in that game.
Oh, yeah.
All right. Let's continue here with the over-unders. You ready to do it?
Yes.
It's time for this week's edition of Over-Unders.
You're over me? When were you under me?
All right, so Morel was giving me a hard time because I did not mention the over-unders in the opening of the show when I was puffing my chest out against about the Sunday six-pack. So go ahead, tell everybody what happened in the over-unders and where we are.
Last week, Mike 6-0, Paul 5-1, Hardy 2-4.
Which for the season, this is where it gets real ugly. Go ahead.
Mike let me start with Paul here at 37-29, Mike 33-33, Hardy 24-42.
Oh.
4 games back.
PU. And I don't mean Patriots Unfiltered. That is gross.
You picked up a game on me last week there.
Keep clawing away.
All right. So once again, I'm not necessarily doing these with what I think is the right answer. A lot of these I'm going to have to be playing
I'm not doing these with what I think is the right answer.
No, I'm trying to. Yeah, I'm just trying to not make this an embarrassment. There's no way. I mean, you can give the nod on this one for me losing it, Paul. I'm not saying you have to give the nod for you winning it for the season, but I think it's safe to say that I'm going to finish dead last. Would you co-sign on that?
You're down. Yeah, you're down quite a bit.
It's bad.
9 games.
Yeah, it's real bad.
9.
All right, but I'll do what I can here. All right, let's begin. What do you have for us?
Mac Jones passing touchdowns at 1.5.
Ooh, I'm going to go over on this one. I'm going to say that I think Tennessee will have some success against the Patriots' run defense. Put a little pressure on Mac, but I think he'll have a couple throwing TDs.
I'm going to agree with Mike. I just feel like this is going to be a game the Patriots are going to be in control, and they're going to have some touchdowns to get. And I think Mac will throw 2 of them.
All right. I think he will throw only 1 because Deuce and Paul both took the over.
Kendrick Bourne receptions made 3.5.
All right, Paul, we start with you.
I'm going to take the over on that one, too. I think he's been it seems like they've been rotating the guy that gets featured a little bit, and I think today might be a Kendrick Bourne day.
I was discussing...
Have yourself a Kendrick Bourne day.
I was discussing this with Archie in the cab yesterday, who said that the Patriots are one of these teams right now where, there's not that one guy that you have to go shut down offensively, and that makes them, ironically, some ways more dangerous. And, if Kendrick... I'm not saying that 4 receptions for Kendrick Bourne would make him the guy to shut down today, but I don't know. I don't know who's going to get the highest number of receptions today. There's no reason for me to think it's going to be Kendrick Bourne, so I'll go under.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm going to roll the dice and say under 2. Just maybe it's more of a Myers, Aguilar, Henry kind of game.
All right.
Speaking of Myers, Jacoby Myers receiving yards, 52.5.
Yeah, I got to go over on one of these if I'm going to pick the Pats to win. So it might as well be Myers receiving yards, and he can do that with, only 4 catches if one of them is a big one. So I'll go over.
Yeah, I'm going to go over 2. I actually ran into Jacoby's dad as I was walking in today. Got a Patriots Unfiltered. Yelled, hey, Mr. Myers. Yeah,
he's a big fan of us.
Big fan of the show.
Nice.
Very cool to get to meet him. He had his Jacoby shirt on, so that's how I instantly knew it was him. So I'm going to go over. I think he sees his son catch more than 52.5 yards today.
I'm going to take the under. I think he has been on a little bit of a downturn lately. I think... Kendrick Bourne. I went over on Kendrick Bourne catches, so I think if I'm going to be consistent with the pick, I have to take the under on Jacoby Myers.
All right. Longest punt return, 25.5.
Deuce, you're up first.
This is by anyone, right?
Ooh.
Correct.
By anyone, but will Gunner do it? I'm going to say no. I'm going to go under on the punt return.
Paul?
I'm going to go under as well.
Yeah, as much as I'd like to gain some ground here, that's too much. I will not give you the over on 25.5 on a punt return. We all go under on that one.
Showing the Titans some love here. Ryan Tannehill passing yards, 217.5.
This me?
Yeah, this is you, Paul.
Oh, I am going to take the over on 217.5 because I think the Titans will be playing catch-up all day. Like last week when he threw for over 300 yards in a game they were trailing throughout. So I will have a similar kind of thing with Tannehill today.
I have a feeling Deuce is going to go over on this one too, so I'm going under.
I'm going to go under too. Sorry. I wish I had been able to tell you that ahead of time, but yeah, I'm going to go. I'm going to go Patriots domination. I'm going to say under.
And wrapping up with the total score as always, 43.5.
Yeah. I hate rooting for the under. It's no fun. So I'm going to go over on this. I have yet to completely formulate my score prediction for the day, but now I know it has to be 44 or more. I'm going over.
I think it's right in that area, high 20s, low teens, but I'm gonna go under. I think it's just under.
Yeah, I'm going to take the under too. I just don't see Tennessee doing much, and that could be like the Cleveland game. The Patriots went over by themselves. It could be a situation like that, but I'm going to say under.
All right, there we go. Those are the over-unders. We'll get to the Sunday six-pack here a little bit later, where we will have 6 games to choose from, which is good. I mean, we should for a 1 o'clock game, but we had those 3 on Thursday. So, all right, good. Excellent. What'd you make of the Thursday games? I know we talked about them briefly. A couple of good ones in there. At least the Lions-Bears game was close, but that's some bad football out there.
That was bad football. The other game was very entertaining. Unfortunately, the refs got in the way.
A lot of penalties in that one. Yeah, I was. I was still impressed with some of the fight that Las Vegas is, continues to show as they kind of continue to hang around.
I didn't see that one coming. I thought they had kind of turned the corner of, okay, we can't do this.
Yeah.
And then they put up a really good effort in that game.
A little bit of a bounce back. I think Buffalo, it was just more of the same of what we've seen from Buffalo with some turnovers, and at times they look real good when their passing offense is clicking, but it's not a tough ground and pound run game. Like they don't have that in the bag, and so they're getting around it. I'll just be very interested how the Patriots match up with them. It was just unfortunate because New Orleans had nothing on offense, so even with those turnovers, they couldn't really counterpunch, and it just got out of hand with Buffalo. So we'll see. Big game next week.
We are looking at the warm-ups right now. And you can see them.
There's our guy.
There's Jacoby.
See them happening here as we get ready for the Titans today here at Gillette Stadium. We were just talking about Jacoby Myers and Deuce. He ran into his father there before the game. Was it today?
It was. It was just outside when I was walking in, and Patriots Unfiltered yelled at me. Not a Deuce, but no, it was cool. It was cool. He's been a fan of the show. He writes in, and I think we're lucky because Jacoby's such an easy guy to root for. As he's just a great kid. He came in, made the team as an undrafted guy. So, if it was a little bit different expectations.
I think we're lucky.
I know.
Because we genuinely like him a lot. And we have had no problems rooting for him.
Right.
And then we happen to have this guy whose father is really interested in these shows. And he listens to us all the time. So we don't have to, pretend that Jacoby Myers, watch out for him. Because we honestly believe it. And the fact that he's listening to us all the time makes it even better.
Yep.
Myers.
We just saw Stevenson there a moment ago.
Yeah, Stevenson's up. He was on the injury report this week. I know I had a lot of people asking me about his availability today.
Yeah. Good to go.
Yes,
hopefully they can really continue to build off of that balanced running attack that we saw last week against Atlanta. And if those guys can get going against this Tennessee defense, I think it'll really add something new. If not, it'll put a lot of pressure on that guy right there, Mac Jones, and his ability to throw today, get it around.
Mac Jones and Brian Hoyer taking
what's happened?
a warm-up lap there together as Mac Jones playing in. Is this his first? Oh, he's all fires up, and he's all fires up. Look at him, getting the crowd into it. I like it.
Yeah, this is probably the lowest temperature game he's ever played.
It's the coldest game he's ever
35?
played. It's got to be
35 degrees-ish.
I was surprised to find a little snow in the backyard when we got home last night.
Oh, yeah.
A little snow out there.
It's coming. Not ready.
All right, we're going to step aside here for a moment. When we come back, we'll continue on with the Patriots pregame show, which is fueled by Dunkin. By the way, Patriots fans, it's always game on with Dunkin, so kick off the action with the official coffee of the New England Patriots. It's the most important game day ritual because it's the perfect way to tackle game day, however you're spending it. We all know the best call for football is Dunkin'. America runs on Dunkin'.
TouchView Interactive is here to support your hybrid learning, distance learning, and video conferencing needs with easy-to-use tools that allow end users to collaborate, interact, and present seamlessly. TouchView Interactive offers a comprehensive line of accessories and software to support your audio-visual needs. Outfit your classrooms and presentation spaces with the future of interactive display technology. Visit touchview.com for more info. Offered by the Oakers Company, celebrating 100 years of service and support.
That looks awful. Football's back and it's time to go big. Pepsi pulled pork sandwiches are game day greatness. Now we're ready for game day. Check out some more awesome recipes on madeforpatriotswatching.com.
Johnny, euphonic.
Join the conversation by calling the Ace Ticket hotline at 855-PATS-500 or email the show at webradio@patriots.com.
Oh, is that like an adorable Australian way of saying air conditioning?
Live from our studios inside Gillette Stadium, here's Hardy.
You gonna eat that cruller?
I love the cruller.
Do you?
Oh, crullers are great.
You know why I like the crullers?
Soft and doughy, airy.
Well, they're airy.
Yeah.
And if you look at the calorie count when you're in the Dunkin', the cruller.
A little less.
Oh, it's a lot less in some cases. You know, I love that blueberry cake donut. That
Ooh,
thing's
that
like,
one take you.
That's like 400 calories.
How about the coffee cake muffin too? That one's like 600-700 calories.
Right, right. But that crawler, like 200,
Boom.
maybe.
Done.
No
Would you
problem.
like to sample a warm French baguette?
Jacoby getting the arm warmed up. Let's see. We haven't seen him throw in a few games. Maybe that's back on the table today.
Wow, we talked about the trick plays for this team as if it was just part of the offense and just look for it week in and week out. This is now part of what they do. When's the last time we saw a trick play?
Well, it's been a couple weeks, I think.
I can't remember.
Yeah, maybe the one to Aguilar, from Bourne to Aguilar. Is that Cleveland?
Yeah, that was something else. That was the one thing I disagreed with Archie on yesterday when he said that the Patriots have revitalized Aguilar's career. I'm like,
nope, wrong.
I'm out of this. He would know Aguilar from the Philly days.
Yeah.
There you go. Yeah,
I mean, was he?
Yeah.
And Aguilar.
He's not had a revitalized season.
No.
He had his best season of his career last year.
He
actually.
did. He did.
And he hasn't stunk.
No.
But he hasn't been.
He hasn't stunk. He's been fine.
He's been fine, but I don't see it as a revitalization.
I'm with you.
Yeah, I really thought
Archie.
that touchdown that he had last week was some of the speediest I've seen him run. That was one of he didn't get touched on that one. That was some good little.
There
speed
would have had to have been someone there to touch him.
But his acceleration.
There was no one
right through
there.
the middle of the defense. But I'm excited about Ramondre.
In all seriousness, Snarky Paul chimes in every once in a while. Did you see those next-gen stat things that I always mock?
Yeah.
That was the most open a player was all season in the NFL.
Good grief.
That touchdown.
Mac found him.
I believe he had 14 yards of separation. 14
I thought they couldn't create separation. That's all I hear.
Well, when you're not covered, you can separate.
Cornerback or
Bledsoe
corner
here
gone,
today, guy.
says Justin in Orlando. Have your opinions of franchising or re-signing J.C. Jackson changed as the season progresses? Hard to see the Patriots improving next year, no matter what upgrades they draft or sign a wide receiver, offensive tackle, linebacker, without bringing back J.C. A rookie cornerback won't be ready to be a starting quarter, and I'm not sure if bringing in a top corner will be as effective as just bringing back J.C. It did take Gilmore about a full season to acclimate to the needs of the position in New England. I don't think it took that long. I share your reservations with J.C. long-term, but I don't see a better solution, and there's no depth behind him. Justin in Orlando.
It's a great question, and we've started to get into it a little bit already, and I feel like the period between when the Patriots season ends and free agency, that's going to be the main topic of conversation. And I think it's just a matter of how much is he going to handicap you. I mean, if you can only re-sign him and you got to let McCourty, Adrian Phillips, and Dante Hightower go, and I know it's not ever apples to apples like that, but I think that's part of the consideration is how much space do you have? How much do you put value in him like that? I mean, there's no question he's continues to make plays on the ball. It's not an accident. He's a guy who, as they played more zone, he continues to produce. No matter Gilmore hasn't been here at all this year, and he's had another great season. So I agree. It's a really hard decision, and I mean I love the player. I think at the end of the day, if you ask me if I think he's going to be here next year, I would say probably not.
Has your opinion changed?
No,
mine hasn't either.
No.
I know.
I feel like he's outpriced himself to even, if he had a pretty good season, and then I feel like they maybe could have played ball with him. But I think teams understand what he's doing.
It's
can
a
you
tough
not?
one, and Fred has been trumpeting the other side of this. He's been going against you and I.
Yep.
Throughout the season. I still feel that J.C. Jackson's a good player. I don't feel like he's a great player. I know a lot of people think I'm wrong and they think I'm being stubborn. Probably true. It's probably accurate. I am being stubborn. I don't see the same way that you do in terms of making plays on the ball. I think he has good hands and he catches it when it's thrown to him. I haven't seen him really, undercut a route or do those kinds of things that sometimes you see. It doesn't matter. He's got as many turnovers as any other cornerback in the time that he's been in the league. He's been a productive player for them. I just would not break the bank for it.
I don't trust my eyes with some of that stuff, Paul, because I'm not watching the All-22 and even, here at the games, I'm not watching J.C. Jackson's coverage on the balls that don't get thrown his way. So I don't know, how good he is. And I hate to leave it up to someone else's analysis, but Sometimes they have to. I got to do it for offensive linemen all the time, and then sometimes I got to do it for corner. I literally don't know how good he is without, because you look at the interception numbers, and it's not a great way of telling.
Right. I think I was really surprised. You mentioned those Thursday games, right? And I was surprised. Like, it seems like everybody that picked off a pass, it was like their 5th interception in the season. He has, 6?
I think so, yeah.
Right. There's other guys that are intercepting passes that they're just not the same guy.
Right.
Like it is with him. In full disclosure, I'm going to say this. We're going back 10 years or so now. I kind of thought similarly about Asante Samuel. I thought he was a good player. I didn't want the Patriots to lose him because I thought they needed him. But I didn't think he was a stud. I didn't think he was, if he was going to get paid as a top corner, I thought that he probably would go some. But then he did go somewhere else, and he continued to be a top corner. So he was better than I thought he was.
Yeah. And while the
maybe
Patriots
J.C.
struggled,
Jackson, and maybe J.C. Jackson will be the same way.
Yeah, that's a great comparison. And I think, for me, over the last 10 years, they've kind of signaled that we need at least one real good man shutdown corner, and we're willing to pay to get that guy. So they're signaling that, which I mean, it seems like ever since they bring it up all the time, Talib arrived, that's just been a focus.
They chased Samuel until they traded for Talib, and then Talib ended up leaving shortly thereafter. So it's been an issue, and since they got Darrelle Revis in 2014, they've always had that guy.
Yeah, right. But I still kind of feel in my heart as a football watcher that I like the front seven. I feel like that's where it starts, and I think if you've got disruptive guys like Barmore, like Judon coming back and continue to ascend, that I think that they can spend their money, spread it around a little bit more. But it's hard. It's hard. And like Paul pointed out, 2008, 2009, 2010, they real struggled with the secondary and coverage and trying to find Terrence Wheatley's and Jonathan Wilhite's and cycling through all those guys, Rasai Dowling. And they paid for it. I mean, you look at how those years ended, 10, 11.
And that's another point in the in Fred's side, because you're right, Mike. Like, you think about all of the different draft picks they've used, early draft picks on cornerbacks. Mm-hmm. And it's not just going back to the Wheatleys and the Wilhites and the Dowlings. It's the Duke Dawsons and the Juwan Williams. Like, they have not. So it's easy for me to say, well, you draft one high and you plug them in. Whereas the track record has said they struggled to draft one high.
Right.
Yeah.
That can play.
Right.
Yes.
And that's what they did with Dowling. They drafted him, 33rd overall, and put him right in.
Right.
I mean,
started his first game.
Yeah. Yep. I'm just now picking up on this. For as much of a defensive guy as Deuce is, he's really more of a front seven guy.
Oh, yeah.
I like this just now dawned on me. It's like
he loves
defense.
Blocking and such.
Yeah. Safeties, corners, not so much. I really want to talk about
the guys that decide the games. Don't worry about it.
You got a D tackle? I am what I am.
Mike likes his front seven.
He loves the front seven.
I like the big D.
JC he's saying all the right things right now. Last week he's talking about how he
loves being a Patriot.
Loves being a Patriot. Hopes he's here for a long time. I do too. At the very least, I would like to see them franchise him next year. I want one more year with J.C. Jackson. But
I will not be upset at all if they decide to break the bank on him.
Upset. No, I won't be upset if they break the bank. Will I be upset if he leaves? Yeah, because I think it's important to the Patriots. Forget about what's important to me. It's important to the Patriots. You've got the guy. Figure out a way to keep him here. That'd be fun. Let's do that. All right, Nate in Florida, you'll be up next when we come back after this very short break. And we'll also do the Sunday six-pack. Thank you to Bridgestone, the official tire of the New England Patriots, proudly sold at Sullivan Tire. Visit sullivantire.com for locations and offers.
That looks awful. Football's back, and it's time to go big. Pepsi pulled pork sandwiches are game day greatness. Now we're ready for game day. Check out some more awesome recipes on madeforpatriotswatching.com.
An active lifestyle means you never stop moving. That's why only Theragun devices are designed to release your body's deepest muscle tension, so you can do the things you love. Land that pose, hit that final rep, taste success, and do it all over again. You only have one body. Make it a Therabody.
Johnny, euphonic.
Join the conversation by calling the Ace Ticket hotline at 855-PATS-500 or email the show at webradio@patriots.com.
Mike, I'm when you was taking reps at right tackle.
You
so it looks like
interrupted
the
me
same
for offensive line.
Sorry, my bad.
Live from our studios inside Gillette Stadium, here's Hardy.
Back on the Patriots pregame show, fueled by Dunkin. I tell you what, this Thanksgiving, don't sleep on what a taxing holiday it is. You know, for whether you're traveling, whether you're just staying home, it takes a lot out of a person, doesn't it?
Traveling, dealing with the kids, cooking, leftovers.
Even if you just stay home and you're just doing a big, I don't know, it's something about that extra day thrown in there, and just
You got to occupy the kids.
Oh, boy.
That kind of stuff.
Thanksgiving, not a holiday for kids. The kids do not care about the Thanksgiving dinner, I think, for the most part. Your kids are a little bit older, at least one of your kids a little bit older.
Yeah, and I was
than me
surprised with how much Will, in particular, liked, because my mother, set up a nice little package for us.
Nice.
And I was surprised how much Will really liked it, because I agree. I think Thanksgiving dinner is I love Thanksgiving. I don't really love the meal.
I don't, as a rule, I am not a let's sit down and let's eat for hours type of person. I've said this many times in the past. If I could have, most days, 3 bowls of human chow, I would do that, just to so I can continue doing whatever I have to do. Now we have to sit down. Now we have to do this. Now, do we? Do we really have to? I just need the sustenance. I just need the fuel so I can go do some more stuff.
You're not a big, I finished eating, I'm going to sit here and drink a decaf coffee for the next 45 minutes kind of a guy? Because that's not me at all. That drives me crazy.
No, and Thanksgiving, for all the buildup and the hours of preparation, I eat in 20 minutes, right, like I do any other meal. And I'm all done now.
Yeah.
Now what?
I stack up the desserts, though. That's kind of the let's just go with a giant dessert plate. That's what.
Well, that's when the coffee comes out. It's with dessert.
Yeah, I don't like that.
You don't like that?
There's a special kind of feeling
I like my family.
nothing in the world can buy when they pass around the coffee and the pumpkin pie, right?
Oh, yeah.
Let's go to Nate in Florida before what I'm quoting a song, Morel. Oh, do you? Oh, do you know? Does Nate in Florida know? Or do you only know about wide receiver depth? Nate, what is it?
I have 2 questions.
Okay.
Number 1.
Not playing the reindeer games.
From what I saw, the Titans only have 1 good cover linebacker, and they'll probably go on Hunter Henry. So does that mean this will be like a big game for Jonnu Smith, maybe?
I don't think so. I think their safeties are pretty good too. I think they'll use their safeties on those guys. I actually think that's one of the more challenging matchups for the Patriots with Byard and Henry down in the red zone. I think that's something they could really look to take away. So that's kind of why I went with Jacoby, thinking they would get away from the tight ends.
Yeah,
go ahead.
My second question is, do you think? I remember a few years ago when we played Dallas, and we beat them. That's kind of like a game where you kind of saw what Jacoby could be. Do you think Christian Wilkerson will have a similar game? Because I really like what I saw about him in the preseason. Do you think we'll see anything? Maybe not this game, but maybe this season at some point.
Unless somebody gets hurt, probably not. He had a pretty good camp, but I think he's right now just a practice squad depth player, and unless an opportunity opens up for him, I'm not sure that there's going to be anything there for him. He looks the part, but
All right, Nate. Appreciate the call. Thanks, buddy. Email here from Justin in Australia. It says, what's going on, guys? How many sacks for Matt Judon today? And do you agree with his view on mac and cheese? This was another feature story earlier this week.
Yeah. More
it's very important.
Hard-hitting journalism.
Why does Paul hate so many things? I understand that you hate a few things.
Oh, even that one got on my nerves this week. The incessant
but
mac
I don't
and
hate
cheese
mac
things.
and cheese. That's Matt Judon who hates mac and cheese.
You hate the fact that it was a story.
Well, not the fact that it was a story when he said it, because
that was funny.
That was funny when he said it, and that was that. You can't just talk about football all week. That's the kind of fun stuff that makes it a little bit more palatable.
You hate that there were 10,000 words written about it?
For 5 days.
Everybody.
Like, okay, I get it. He hates mac and cheese, and he's getting a lot of blowback on Twitter. Like, okay.
So you're the
This your guy? This
Oh,
your
there's my guy.
Winnow?
He's going to have a
Is
big
it a
game
milk,
today.
Milk Monday?
It's going to
Is
be
that
a,
what it's called?
It's going to be a Milk Monday tomorrow, and Zolak and Bertrand Winovich. If he has a big game, the Patriots will win. There you go. That's my prediction.
I would just say I like mac and cheese, but it's never really been part of our repertoire on Thanksgiving, so I never really considered it a Thanksgiving
We
meal.
never had it as a part of our
Yeah.
Thanksgiving meal,
But I like it.
When did I have? I had it recently. Oh, I had it for dinner one night during our vacation, and it was at a nice restaurant, and somebody ordered mac and cheese, and it was delightful. I mean, I'm not like craft only or no, only homemade with this. No, many varieties of mac and cheese. I enjoy most of them, unless they put like lobster in it.
That's what I was going to say. There's too much of a drive to put like buffalo chicken and lobster.
I don't mind the buffalo-
clams and
Yeah,
I
it
don't
wa-
need clam mac and cheese. Like just mac and cheese.
I'm not a seafood guy, but if you want to jazz up your mac and cheese, I'm fine with that.
Okay.
But I'm also good with Kraft mac and cheese. It's fine.
It's just fine.
Velveeta in the microwave mac and cheese.
Good stuff.
3.5 minutes. Kids can make it themselves.
Yes, TJ likes his mac and cheese.
So I'm getting a lot of message here about Drew Bledsoe being in the building. You know,
Yes.
are you allowed legally within 50 yards of him still?
Yeah,
or
I
we've
think
worked
that,
out?
I think the statute of limitations has expired on that.
I just want to see Paul light up.
Has it not?
Probably not.
Am I still? Should I stay in the radio studio?
I would say just don't
Paul,
push it.
You know the rules.
Don't push your luck. We'll talk to Roger in Kentucky before we do the Sunday six pack. Roger, what's up, buddy?
Hey guys, how y'all doing?
Good.
Excellent.
Hey, I got a couple score predictions for you.
All right.
My score prediction is going to be like 27-17. Patriots win. Comfortable win. My brother's a Titans fan. We're about 2 hours from Nashville. He's decided to not watch the game, and he's predicted the Patriots win 70-0.
All right.
I think he might be right.
Al, that could very well end up being that. I mean, we've been so off on a couple of these in terms of what we thought was going to be a tight game with Cleveland. You know, games where we thought there was going to be a chance the other team was going to be hanging around, and it just hasn't gone that way. I just think the law of averages are gonna catch up at some point, and I'm gonna keep predicting that until it happens. Much like I did with the Chiefs, thinking at some point they have to start playing like the Chiefs again. And right. I think at some point the Patriots are gonna have a game, and we'll get to it in a moment. But I believe that day is today. So let's do the Sunday six pack, Matt.
This is the Sunday six pack, so kick back and listen to the position. I'm itching to get the picks back. You better bring a big stack. Don't get it mixed, Jack. I came to win it, yeah. This is the Sunday six pack.
All right, Sunday six pack. Let's go over what happened last week and where we stand on the season. Matt,
take your bow, sir. Hardy 6-0. Wow. Followed by Paul 4-2. Mike 1-5. Unbow yourself, Mike.
I don't know. How do you go 6-0 in the other one, 1-5 in this one? I don't know.
Brings the season
you don't have
totals.
a feel for the league, just the Patriots.
I guess.
On the season, Hardy 36-25, Paul 30-31, Mike 25-36.
All right, so we head into the 1 o'clock games. We'll have 3 of them, but we'll save the Pats for the end. What do we have up first, Matt?
The 7-3 Tampa Bay Buccaneers at the 6-5 Indianapolis Colts. Tampa -3.
What do you think, Deuce?
Yeah, I'm going to take Tampa in this one. I think they're going to shut down Jonathan Taylor. I'm not a big Carson Wentz fan if he doesn't have that explosive run game to lean on, so I'm going to take the Bucs.
I'm going to take the Colts to pull off an upset here. I don't think the Bucs have played very well away from Tampa, and I think the Colts are hot right now. We'll see if they can keep it going. My guess is this is the game. You know, the Patriots play the Colts pretty soon, so this is the game Jonathan Taylor will tear his ACL and be out of it.
But you're still taking the Colts to win this one.
Right.
Or
it'll
at least
be late
cover.
in the game.
Or at least cover.
It'll be late in the game. Like Tre'Davious White, when the game is over, he'll tear his ACL.
Gotcha. Okay. I'm with Deuce. Earlier we had someone asking for some knockout advice, and both Deuce and I, out of the games that this gentleman had available to him, one of them was the Bucs. We said, don't love it, but I'll take the Bucs, and I think they win and cover the 3.
The 5-4-1 Pittsburgh Steelers at the 6-4 Cincinnati Bengals. Cincinnati -3.5.
Paul.
I like the Bengals in this game. I think they've been a little up and down, as teams that are trying to learn how to win often can be. But I think they're a better team than Pittsburgh, and I think they complete the sweep, the season sweep.
Yeah, I like the Bengals in this one too, and I know that the Steelers, for having their struggles this year, don't want to be swept by the Bengals in a season, but I think it happens anyway, and I think the Bengals win by a touchdown today.
Yeah, I like that pick too. I'm going with the Bengals.
Moving to the 4 p.m. games, the 6-4 Los Angeles Chargers at the 5-5 Denver Broncos, the LAC -3.
Yeah, I didn't love this earlier when that was another option for our emailer in the knockout, but oh boy, Broncos 3-point dogs at home. It's just not enough. Give me 3.5, and I'm thinking Denver, but no, I can't do it. I'll lay the 3 with the Chargers.
Yeah, I'm gonna do the same. I think the LAC is two teams kind of crossing each other, one going up, one going down right now. I'm gonna take the LAC.
Yeah, I like the LAC in this one too. I just don't see Denver doing enough to keep up offensively, but the Broncos defense has played reasonably well. Maybe they're the latest in the teams to slow down Justin Herbert, but I'm going to go with Herbert.
This game could very, very well end up being a push. Push it real good. Yo, baby, pop.
You went just far enough. You should have just pushed just a little bit more. You should have just pushed.
You pushed just the right amount.
The 7-3 Los Angeles Rams at the 8-3 Green Bay Packers, LAR -1.
I don't even know who's up.
It's a great game.
That's me. Yeah, it is a great game.
You've been reading Twitter about Matthew Stafford?
Yeah, he got
evidently he may not make it through the day.
He got lots of injuries.
He's got an arm. He's got a back.
He's got a lot of stuff going on, but was not on the injury report.
And Aaron Rodgers got a toe. Choose your
COVID toe.
It's broken now. Apparently, this is crazy. I'm going to take the Green Bay Packers.
I'm going to take the LAR. Because I think sometimes those injury things are a little bit overblown. And I think Matthew Stafford hasn't played well the last couple of weeks. The Rams haven't played well. They've had a little time to rest. I think he bounces back.
Oh, this is
tough
so
spot.
Tough. This is
tough spot.
Tough. It is.
At Lambeau.
If you go, and by the way, road teams are winning at an unprecedented clip this year.
Yes, even better than last year, and everybody chalked up last year to the fact that there were no fans in the stands.
So the the long-held belief that home field was worth 3 points, a lot of sharps are thinking that's down to a point. So this game is a pick'em.
You hear that, Fred? That's what I tried to explain to you last week when you couldn't figure out what I was saying.
Or it's actually 2 because the LAR are lane 1. I'm not gonna bet against the Packers at home against a banged up Matthew Stafford. I can't do it. I'll take the Packers getting a point.
Sunday Night Football, the 6-5 Cleveland Browns at the 7-3 Baltimore Ravens, Baltimore -3.5.
Paul.
Baker Mayfield injury too.
This should be another good game. I am going to take Baltimore with Lamar Jackson back in the fold to bounce back, but they haven't really. That's another team that's been completely a mash unit all year. I think that they will find a way to get this one done, though.
I think so, too. I think Lamar Jackson likes the idea of playing in a primetime spot and having a good game, and I think they can win that by minimum 4, probably more like a touchdown.
Yeah, I'm with you guys, though. I think Cleveland is getting a little stronger at the running back position, which could make it a little bit interesting, but I'm going to go with Baltimore.
All right, and finally,
the 8-3 Tennessee Titans at the 7-4 New England Patriots, New England -7.
Patriots win this one today, but I do not like laying a touchdown. I think it's a little bit too much, even with a banged up Tennessee team. It's Vrabel. He's had success against this team. I think the Patriots win today by a final of 24-21.
Wow, close. I think the Patriots are going to roll. I think Tennessee's going to have trouble generating offense against the Patriots defense. A couple turnovers from Tannehill. I think the Patriots roll 28-10.
Oof.
Yeah, I'm. Initially, when the week started, I picked the Patriots to win this game 23-16. I'm going to up that a little bit for a couple of reasons. One, we've learned more about the scope of the injuries for the Titans. That's the first and foremost. And also, I don't want to pick a push. It's -7. I don't want to put it right on the number. So I'm going to up my score to 27-13 Patriots.
Wow. All right. All right, so there we go. Sunday six-pack there in the books.
Oh, God, Ben Volen, 27-13 Patriots. It's like I just said it.
You want?
I just said it.
Well, where do you think he got his prediction from? Exactly. All right, very good, gentlemen. Let us reconvene here after the game for the Patriots post-game show. We hope that you'll join us then here on Patriots.com. We're going to take your phone calls, we'll take your emails, and we will dissect everything that happens today between these two teams. A game that was circled for a lot of people, still circled. You know, tough ticket to get.
Always
you know,
circled.
good Titans team, but banged up today, and it's gone from the one where you just think that the Patriots hope to get a win to where now got to get a win today against a team that is banged up as the Titans are. So we will find out if that happens during the post-game show. Again, we hope you join us then. Thanks for listening and watching.
Thank you for downloading this podcast. Subscribe on Apple, Google Play, and everywhere else you listen. Like the show? Please rate and review us. Listener comments and ratings help keep us high in the podcast rankings so new listeners can find us. Be sure to check Patriots.com for more news and more podcasts.